Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday Night Forum. Well, I say another one. We've been away for a few weeks. The podcast has been on the down low for a few weeks of World Cup. While the World Cup was over, I think we only had a couple of podcasts. But listen, a little bit of banter backstage before we started. It reminded me how good it is to get together with the boys here and have a little bit of a chat. Arsenal is on the horizon on Monday, so Merry Christmas to everybody who's celebrating that, and I hope you have a good weekend, a safe one, and it's a time of reflection, it's a time of thinking about loved ones as well, those who are with you and those who are not with you. So, with that, I want to once again introduce Gary, Tony, Alonso, and Stan. So,
I
how's
don't think
everybody?
I forgot us since then. Right.
Reintroduce everybody, right? Gary, how have you been?
For 2.5 weeks?
How have you been the last 3 or 4 weeks, Gary?
I've been good.
What,
I've been
what
good.
have you been
Yeah.
up to?
This work thing is starting to get normal, like they want us in the office. So that kind of sucks. But it's probably it's not a surprise, but it is like a change. So they want to see our faces. So traveling to work is something I haven't done in like seems like years on a regular basis. So I'll be doing that, and then doing some shows and traveling a little bit. I actually went and picked up one of my kids from school and brought her back. And yeah, it's basketball season over here for the was it? I think we're the 30 and up. So I'll be doing basketball on the Sundays now. So I
Are
might
you
miss
still
some
on the
games.
injured reserve, Gary?
I know. I wrote this morning, so I'm good.
Are
I'm
you
good.
sure?
I'm good. So I got another week to prepare, and then it's
Tell Ray
games.
how you hurt yourself. I want Ray to know how you
No,
hurt yourself.
no,
I don't want to know.
no. We don't need to know that. But
All right,
yeah.
all right.
Let's just say I'm old.
Ray
and I
wants
get,
to know.
yeah, I get
Gary
injured
got
doing-
off the plane and he tweaked his calf
Oh my god.
because he's 51 years old.
Yeah, you know what? These things
I
can
am
happen.
not 51. I keep telling my family I'm 39. Stop counting at 39, and that's all she wrote.
Okay, so since I asked Gary how he's been the last few weeks, let's go to Tony. I'm afraid to ask. Tony, how have you
Get
been?
I've been
physician's
fantastic,
reference.
Ray.
Get your
I got
physician's
one arm,
reference out.
another autoimmune disease. It's going fantastic. Now I'm doing all right.
All right. Well, we're going to try and get some traction for you because you need a new wheelchair.
I don't want traction, Ray. That means I'll like break my back or something.
Traction in your quest for a wheelchair. Alonzo, how have you been the last 2 weeks, Alonzo?
Doing all right. Just working and watching England lose again. It's a bummer, but it is what it is. Been on Gary's podcast a couple of times, I believe, and just working. Just trying to stay busy, really. Trying to looking forward to the second half of the season with Arsenal top of the league and go from there. But yeah, I'm very excited, and we're looking forward to Christmas and Boxing Day.
We are all excited to get back to the Arsenal. Stan, what have you been up to the last 3 or 4 weeks? 5 weeks, 6 weeks?
Well, I haven't been watching the World Cup, and I'm just never really. I went off international football sort of like in the mid-90s, and I've never really gone back to it much. But I did have a look at the France and England game, and I caught the end of the final, the extra time, and the penalties. So other than that, I've just been, keeping myself busy with work. It's freezing over here, getting myself ready for Christmas, and it's good to be back. And before we get too far into the show, just a quick word for my sponsor for the evening. It's the boys down at the Briscoe Brothers Body Shop sent me up a T-shirt. So if you're ever down in Tampa, Florida, and you've got any problems with your car, go in and see the Briscoe Brothers, and you can phone them on 813-879-4421. And remember, folks, it's worth the drive.
I hope you got paid for that, because that was really good. But why body shop in Tampa? I don't get it. Where do you live? You don't even live anywhere near there. Is it around the corner for me? You just take a helicopter or your plane?
It's on the way to Oklahoma. On the way to Oklahoma.
It's worth the ride. Is that what it is?
Tony knows. Alonso knows.
Yeah, man. That was old
If
school.
Mr.
Stan.
Tom
That
was here, he'd know.
I don't know what's going on, Ray.
We've been working on Tony's body too, right?
Oh,
Hey, Gary, I give you a hint. It's 70s wrestling. I give you a hint.
oh, okay, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Bob
let's
Briscoe.
say hello to a
That's
few
all,
people.
man.
Welcome everybody. Listen, it's great to have everyone back. Can Arsenal go again? Well, we'll talk about it. Ready? How's it going, gents? Proper football finally back. Cannot wait for Boxing Day. Come on, the Arsenal. Blimey, look at that. The band is back together. Yeah, look. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Is that what they say? Good evening, everyone. BX Gunner, great to see you as well. Cricket boys here. Oh, that's Riddy, right, Tony?
Yep.
Paul from in the North Bank. Merry Christmas to all. See you. Good to see you all again. Let's get through a few more. Hello, Gary, Tony, Stan, Alonzo, everyone in chat. Steven's here. Hey, everyone. And I did catch a little bit of Gary's podcast yesterday as well. There was some banter over on that one, so check that out. Talking about Gary's injury as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting old. I'm getting old.
Yeah. Right. Voice of Game of Thrones. 30 likes, we get a special song. I don't know about that, Tony. That was past season.
I'll sing if we get.
Oh, okay, everybody.
Hit the likes.
Ray, you okay if
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, are you okay if people don't show up tonight?
Tony will sing. Should bring more people in.
It should be
Oh,
30
yeah.
likes or Tony will sing. That way, then you get the likes. Right?
I think it's a 2-for-1 deal, Stan.
Oh
think it's
my.
2-for-1 deal.
Oh boy.
Yeah. All right.
It's funny you're gonna see this Christmas.
Somebody actually took a like away. We had 5.
Said no, please no. Oh man.
Tony's watching the like counts as they go up or down. Okay. A little bit later, we'll be talking about the Premier League. As we know, it's back on Monday. And we will have some upset picks. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but we'll have some fun with it. But first of all, Gary, can Arsenal go again? This is almost like part 2 to the season, right, Gary?
Yeah, they can go again. We just have to see what Arteta has in store for us this time around, right? I mean, outside of Jesus, we've got basically all that we need. And easy games to start. So yeah, we can maintain for a bit. We are going to struggle, I think, when things get a little tough. But yeah, no, we can. We'll see if Arteta earns his keep. Right, that's what we've been saying. He's learned from the best. Now it's time to see it. See it.
Yeah, Tony. So that's a vote of confidence from Gary. Tony, do you feel Arsenal can go again, Tony?
With Eddie and Kedia leading the line.
Oh, come on, man.
I mean, that is the thing, though, Alonso. People are going to say the one player that's going to be plugged into this that hadn't been there before is going to be Eddie and Kedia.
Go ahead, Tony.
And we'll probably have Martinelli. Maybe he'll play in the middle. I doubt it, though.
Yeah.
We're down another winger, so.
So do you have confidence we'll go again, Tony? Yes or no? This is where we put you on record a little bit.
I think it's going to take us a while.
Okay. Hedging his bets a little bit there. Classic Tony. Classic.
Hey, I've been optimistic all year.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Alonso, what do you think? Can Arsenal go again with Eddie and Kedia and the Gabriel Jesus role, Alonso?
I mean, why not? I think Eddie and Kedia needs his role, needs his chance to somehow succeed, and I think that he, if he looked in the past last year, right, people were just counting him out because he didn't get much playing time, and when he did get playing time, he didn't really do well, but when he did give the time, he did pretty well. So I'm hoping that Eddie and Kedia shows up. We'll see what happens. But we had Arsenal have enough weapons, I guess, to kind of get by. It's been hard, but like Tony has said, I wouldn't mind seeing Martinelli down the middle, for
Mhm.
some games at least. If you're gonna experiment, you might as well do it now. With that said, I think that will be okay. I think that there is some tough games, like Gary has said. There is moments that will not struggle, but kind of it'll be intense. And like Stan had said, we're not going to win every game. So the expectation level has to dip down a little bit. And there is some times where Arsenal will struggle, but I think I'll be confident and say that they will finish the season strong.
And Stan, what do you think?
Well, we can't just hide Eddie away and pretend that he doesn't exist. You know, it's this is exactly the opportunity that I would have thought that a player in his position, he's standing in the team, would be waiting for. An injury or a suspension. He's told us that all he needs is, a run of games. He's going to get that now. So we're going to know, I would say, come by the end of January, we're going to know whether Eddie's good enough to lead the line and we can have somebody, coming off the bench to back him up and give him a bit of rest now and then, or whether we're going to have to go all out and really have to look at the songbook again and write another script. It's not going to be long before we know the answer to these questions. And for me, I'd rather know sooner rather than later. If Eddie's not good enough, then I'd rather know as soon as we can by giving him as many games rather than hiding him away and sort of like just pretending that, everything's okay.
Yeah, I really thinks we'll go into the North London Derby, still top of the league, and I think that's the third or fourth game in the second part of the season for us. Interesting comment here, and quite true. Wizard of Oz. Anybody else not surprised Kane hasn't had the same treatment Saka and co did after the Euros. England's darling boy, Harry Kane, escaping the criticism, after going out to another penalty shootout. Gary, we were talking about Eddie Nketiah, and Stan rightly saying we're going to know very soon. He's going to get games now.
Yeah, and I hate the mindset that I need game time to show you what I got. I hate that mindset because you ask any of the other players that we talk about a lot about, the Sackers, the Jesus, the Milsrif Rose, they don't need 90 minutes to show you what they got. We've seen them come in with small amounts of minutes of time and maybe not in the best in the Premier League matches, and they've shown us something about them that you go, yep, I like it. I don't need to see more. I know he's going to bring it. So that's my only concern with Nketiah's mindset, that he thinks he needs time. He needs a start to show what he's got. No, you just need to get on the field. Get on the field and do what you do. You know what I mean? Because he's not going to start every match, and he knew that coming into the season. So that mindset actually doesn't make any sense to me, because he knew he was not the number one striker for Arsenal. He was not the number 9 forward, whatever you want to call it. That was never going to be the case. And Arteta showed immediately when he had a chance what he was going to do. Right? So I think the other 10 players will cover. We'll have to cover for what Jesus is missing, and then Nketiah has to do what many people I've heard say is finish. They say he's a better finisher than Jesus. Well, all right. Make sure, if we're not giving him opportunities, then it's not on him. But he's going to have to be ready to take shots when they come, because I believe they will come. They've come before. He just hasn't been as clinical as we'd like. So it's his time to shine. No excuses, and we'll find out pretty quickly. We'll know, in about 10 days we've got 3 games, and he'll play a bulk of that, the minutes for those games. So he's been rested, right? He hasn't played in a long time. I don't think he should be resting, right? So I expect to see him ready to go and scoring, because that's his job. That's the only job he has, I think, is scoring.
Yeah,
it's funny, isn't it? We said this before, didn't we, Ray? A couple of weeks ago, that I think it was me and you that was saying it's funny when we talk about Eddie that we almost have to keep reminding ourselves that he's not 19 anymore. He's almost 25.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like a young kid that's just come from the academy, but I have to remind myself of that sometimes. And, you know, if you think about it, you know, we consider ourselves to be a big team. And here we have an English player who's almost 25 and he's nowhere near the England squad. He's nowhere near it. He doesn't even get called up for friendlies to have a look at him or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
And you would think that, you know, if we had an English man, you know, especially one that's been with us for so long, it's not like he's just come to the club either, like a Benny White. You know, he's been with us for so long that he's nowhere near the England squad, which I think tells you quite a lot.
Yeah. No,
Well,
that's a good point.
think about it. Most players, right? They have when they're having a bad day, they have to bring something else so they don't play for Arsenal, right? They have to, right? Saka's not having a good day, scoring defensively. He needs to show up, connecting the ball. He needs to show up, right? Or else, we can't use him, right? In Kedia, he's got the easiest job on the pitch right now. All he has to do is make sure he's in the box for those balls that are going to come in. That's all he has to do. And the rest of the team will have to pick up the slack for Jesus, which is fine. I'll take it. But that's why, like you say, you know, like you said, Stan, he's 24, 25, and we got to cover the slack for him. How? You got a Jesus, which is like, this is what I want, Arteta. This is what Arteta says I want. And then you've got Nketiah behind him, and it's like, well, he doesn't give me most of the things that Jesus gives me.
Actually, Alonso's just reminded me in the chat box there that he's almost 24, but still, right? You know, that's you know, he's still on his way, right? But it's funny, I still sometimes think that he's almost 19. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and like he was next in line after like what Aubameyang and Lacazette. He was going to be. He had so much promise coming up from Howlands, and he hasn't really taken advantage of that opportunity. Him being English, I would assume he would have, but just hasn't worked out.
His Arsenal career has been very stop-start. We had a little bit of spurt there in April, May. And, you know, he wasn't the reason we didn't get top four in the end. Injuries piled up at the back for us. But he was not as clinical as we wanted him to be. 5 goals in 8 games. But we haven't seen anything in a very well-functioning team. And he's considered the weakest link probably in the squad right now, outside of a Cedric. Who's
I tell you what, my biggest worry with Eddie is that although we've managed to keep him so that if we sell him, we will get something back on him, because we have, you know, since he's been with us through the academy, Arsenal has made a sizable investment in him. But my worry is if say by the end of the season, Mikel Arteta decides that he hasn't been good enough when he's had the opportunity to lead the line, who's going to take him? Who's gonna match the wages that we've now put him on? And it's very rare that a footballer will say, okay, I'm on 100 bags a week now, but I'll come and play for you and you only have to pay me 50.
And he's going to have to
do you know what I mean? Or 60.
Yeah. He's going to have to score some goals this season in order to justify such a move as well. You know?
I just hope that we've not painted ourselves into a corner again, like we have so many times in the past with players' contracts and salaries. And then you've got this person that's hanging around. We can't move them on. They're just treading water.
Yeah.
I'm saying it here. We did. Even if he pans out, we put a lot of money invested into him, right? And you're looking at players that are deserving of, you know, salaries, and now you got to look at what he got paid and go, well, what is Saliba worth? What is Saka worth, right? What is Martinelli worth, right? I mean, you've got 3 young players that Arsenal needs to make sure they hold on to, and Nketiah, you know, second behind. I think he's our third striker as much as we say he's our second. Yeah. For me, he's really our third. And if you're paying your third striker $100K a week, you know,
yeah,
that's It sets a precedence that's just really hard to not figure out that you're going to lose some money on the end of this.
Did you
as
see?
echoed by BX Scudder. Go ahead, Stan.
I was going to say, did you see? You're saying there, Gary. If that's what we think that he's worth, how much is somebody else can be worth? Did you see the rumors about Martinelli's contract? They're saying that
200, right?
Plus
Yeah.
200.
So that kind of shows you where we are, right? I mean, that's it's not my money, but it's a lot of money, right? He's a young lad. For me, he should be getting something a little bit in between. I would have said would have been a little bit more. But as I say, it's not my money, and if they're happy to pay him that, and he's going to take it and stay, then let's see what happens. But
So the situation with Martinelli, it's twofold. You're locking the player in so that you don't get other clubs coming looking. Jurgen Klopp, you can stop looking and hugging Martinelli now because
When
you
we
have
ever
to be
announce
able to
it,
afford him. Sorry, Jurgen.
see,
What
I would have done is right. I don't know if it's allowed, but I would have sat down with Martinelli, and if you're looking at a figure of 200, I would have said, well, actually, the figure's going to be around about 120, 130. However, there's going to be incentives along the way. You reach these targets at the end of that first season, then it won't be 130 or 140. You'll get your 200. You get the 200 because you've reached some sort of a rolling structure. So the money's there. You're putting the money in front of the player. You're saying this is on the table for you, but in order to get that full amount, there's little hurdles along the way, little things that need to be completed. And the more you complete, the more cheddar you get. And I think I don't see how any player worth their salt and that believes in their talents wouldn't want to be on a system like that. It's no different from a really good salesperson getting a bit of commission on top of the sale, right? For getting X amount of sales for the month.
How do you tell Martinelli that, look, I've seen you contribute to this team in the previous year. You're contributing right now. In Kedia, what have you done in the Premier League for us? Do you even start for us? You come in, you did well as in a supporting role. You came in, and you did what you're supposed to do, and this is what you get. But you know what, Martinelli, you've been doing this for a lot longer in the Premier League, starting, putting, threatening back lines, right, with what you do. But you're gonna have to work for yours, right?
Oh, I get it. I mean, this is something that you should have maybe implemented. You know what I mean? A bit further back. It's difficult to do that now because you'd have other people going, well, fucking hell. But I hear what you're saying, Gary. But yeah. I would somehow like to have players having some kind of a sliding scale. And there's a potential there to have all the dough, because if they're reaching their targets, that means overall the club's going to be in a good place, right? And that means extra money comes in through winning things, right?
It's a catch-22. You have a young player that you're locking in at quite a high salary, at close to 200.
Now, if like that comment there from Wizard of Oz, if that's true that the 100K includes bonuses, then it'll be easier to sell them, all right?
And Eddie,
because it won't be 100K, all right? And
what bonus? People say it's 100K,
what bonus structure has he hit any of them?
He's on 70K last season.
What bonus did he hit this season? He's got
tiny bootlaces up, wearing his shin pads. He's got really stupid bonus.
He's got 2 goals in 6 Europa League games.
On the sideline.
So what bonus is he hitting if that 100K includes bonuses? I'm just.
He's put on the yellow bib 16
I mean,
times.
I assume he's making more than he did last year, and I thought he was making somewhere in the
70K
30s, 40s.
last year, I thought.
Well, that might have been 70 with bonuses, right?
Let's get through a couple of comments and got caught up here. Steven said, we've been let down so many times with management and ownership, you cannot count them out of doing the wrong thing. We need a striker and CDM badly, and I just had this feeling we won't get them. BX Skinner said, this is Eddie's last chance to salvage his Arsenal career. If he doesn't do anything, he's done for. The fans will not accept it. And, I think we're a good cross-section of the fans here. And if he doesn't start scoring goals at a rate of probably 2 goal involvements every 3 games, that wouldn't be good enough for me. Anything less than that, we can't be sympathetic to a player not coming good. The club is progressing, and we need better quality. It's really your weakest link. You as a club, you have to keep looking in the positions and the weakest links within your position, and you start phasing them out, and you bring in better players, and that's how you raise the level.
Think about this: if we did finish top 4 last season, would Nketiah be here? And would he
Yes.
get 100K?
Yeah,
And
he'd
would,
still.
would-
Yeah,
and would that actually make sense?
No, because
much sense as it does right now.
at
He's
the
been in
time,
Champions
No, it's even worse. That's even worse because now you're saying, look, we are playing in the
Champions League
Champions
now.
League, and Nketiah is our number 2. So no, I think it's worse.
Yeah.
We're lucky we're not in
No.
the Champions League. You want to have something better coming off the bench for Jesus.
We-
Nketiah
we-
isn't the man right now.
I think we all agreed with you, Gary, when you said Nketiah is basically our third striker. Whether the second striker is within the club or whether we buy another.
We're
club
buying the
within
second
club.
striker. He's a 21-year-old Ukrainian, right?
Yeah, Mudryk, right?
No, but he's a winger, right? So it could be a case of we buy a winger,
Forward.
which
Yeah,
allows someone like Martinelli. If we buy Mudryk, he's a left winger, right? Okay,
Yeah.
he could grow into a right winger and grow into a forward, but right now he's a left winger. Maybe that's the thing where Martinelli's now allowed to rotate with Eddie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a plan. I don't know.
I think it's definitely could be on the cards as well. Really said Arteta's made it crystal clear publicly that we need bodies to cope with the fixture congestion and injuries. I think it's going to be a forward. Let's get the mindset away from a striker. I think it'll be more of a forward player, a winger kind of player, and a midfielder. And Nketiah has had chances this season. He's not impressed as far as I'm concerned. We can't all say we're talking about Nketiah now because we are not impressed with his play in the first part of the season. And the table is set now for him. Alonso, the table is set for him he's got everything in his favor now. Gabriel Jesus is now sitting on the bench waiting to come on Monday.
I mean,
The porridge is just right.
yeah, I mean, he has to get chances because they're coming far between. So, whenever you talk about Arsenal of old, right, and we had position in Champions League and all that stuff, we had full strikers that were around. We had Eddie Briere, you had Van Persie, you had Nicholas Bentner, you had proper strikers.
Yeah.
And now I just have maybe one, and he's hurt. So Eddie needs to realize that, hopefully Arteta has talked to him about the wages he's on and the kit number, because all that means nothing unless you're not going to start playing proper, Arsenal football. So, they're stuck with him if he doesn't perform the way we as fans expect and think he can perform. So it's a struggle as a fan to see him not bagging any goals in.
Yeah, and the thing here, Wizard of Oz is highlighted perfectly here. Eddie's only 12 months younger than Gabriel Jesus, but Gabriel Jesus has lived
Crazy.
a football life. Eddie Nketiah is a burgeoning infant in the
Burgeoning?
football world.
I think
Burgeoning.
it's-
That's the word of the day.
Gabriel Jesus
but-
is like an old codger compared to him, isn't he?
No, but think about it. You've got,
Are we trying to say he's a late
got-
bloomer? Is that what you're trying to say, Ray?
Yes.
Like Drew.
Gary, Tony
No, it's just-
interrupted you, Gary.
No, I was just gonna say like that's another problem. You kind of look to your left and your right. He looks to his left and right, and he's got Saka and Martinelli. One's got an Olympic medal. The other one was probably one of the best players for England in this World Cup, right? And I think I saw a top 11. He might have been on that list. I don't know whose list it was, but he played pretty well in the World Cup. Saka did.
When
So-
Gary looks left and right, he's got superstars either side of him.
I think he was in the team of the tournament, Gary, by someone, right?
He
Yeah,
was.
Yeah. Pretty
It
cool.
was a clip. I think the media outlets from France, I think, had him in the top 11.
Yeah.
He's
And
one
so-
of the 3 Arsenal players that played over 200 minutes.
Yeah. So when I look at that, I'm like, You've got
Name other two, Gary,
who the other two? What?
that played over 200 minutes of a World Cup. Arsenal players.
Oh, I don't know.
No, that was it.
One's from Ghana, one's from Switzerland.
Oh,
Oh,
Partey
yeah.
and Xhaka.
Yeah.
Okay, and Xhaka. All right, our midfield engine room.
Yeah. No,
many
you know what?
minutes
Like
did
like
our
I
first
said,
center
like I
back
said,
play?
it's not even on Nketiah to do anything more than he can do. So it's got to be Erdogan right behind him. It's got to be
Mhm.
Saka and Martinelli on the outside of him, and then it's got to be Partey up the middle, just doing more than they've done already this season to make sure that it doesn't come down to Nketiah being the reason anymore, right? Because it can't be. You know what? He didn't come back on this particular play for the ball. Nah. Erdogan's got to be really good. He's gonna have to be like Partey good. Like I keep saying, when I went to the North London Derby and I saw Partey play, I'm like, that's gonna be Erdogan now. Sitting in front of him, and you're like, damn, that looks really good. All right. Can't be like you can't take any minutes off. You're gonna be on for the entire 90 minutes you're on the pitch.
Yeah, also Xhaka has been playing really offensively lately. So if anything, I think Eddie and Katie hope will learn from Xhaka as well that he's a key part of our team and he's been playing really well going forward. So hopefully Eddie can keep up with him, in a sense.
Great to have you here, also Wizard of Oz. Make yourself comfortable. Pull up a chair, I always do say, pull up a chair. Not always, but
Come
yeah,
sit by the fire.
I feel like it's like chatting with fellas at the pub. So good to have you. Hope we see you in the future.
Sometimes it's like fighting with guys down the pub as well, Wizard of Oz. So you all
like family
hang around. Especially those two up there at the top right.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
What are you
I don't know
talking
what you're
about?
talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Stan's sitting there and poking the bear. He wants
That's all
to
I
see.
do. I just take the bear. I know. I know.
Why is it the team is flourishing and then there's Eddie?
See, and that's that just it sucks for Eddie. It sucks for Eddie that we just have to bring him up. But you know what? This is what he wants. He wants this. He's got it. He wants this moment right now, and he's got it.
Yep, exactly.
Listen, it's
No
fair
more
of us to
excuses,
say all
no
of
more
these
hiding.
things. We can't say there's going to be egg on our face if he scores a hat trick on Monday because we want the best for him. But it's also fair to say he hasn't made the most of his minutes this season.
How much of 100,000 has he earned so far, Ray?
No.
I mean,
5 pounds.
if you did that with every footballer, none of them would earn. Very few of them would earn 100% of their salary.
I think Saka's earned everything.
That wasn't my question.
I think Martinelli's earned everything we're paying him. Yeah.
My question was how much would Eddie be worth?
They're on
I
the
really
team
hope that
next to
Eddie,
him.
right?
Could you buy
I really-
fish and chips? Or do you just
I
have
really
the
hope
chips?
that Eddie doesn't have my kind of mentality, which is like, who gives a fuck about go bonuses when you're on 100 grand a week?
I got one.
Please, I don't want him to think like me.
I got the first goal. I can sit back and let it take it easy. You know what I mean?
Take me off.
Think about it.
Now I go
We're all
bummering and
complaining
have
about
40K
Ben
of
White. You think anybody thinks Ben White
bonus.
earned the 50 mil? Right?
Yep.
I think everybody's happy.
No worries.
I think we're okay with the 50 mil now. We weren't okay before, but he's hopefully that continues. But so far so good,
Will
right?
we see him at center back?
Now, since we're talking about center back, BX going to say we have players that are younger than Eddie at higher levels. He doesn't have it in him. Arsenal isn't his destination. I want to know in the chat box though. Are you willing to give him 10 games? Are you willing to give him a further 10 games? We know the club's likely not going to go get a striker. So Eddie's position.
I tell you how it's going to go. Right, first couple of games, right, there probably won't be any goals or assists, right, and then you're going to what you're going to hear is, but he's doing so much other things for the team. He's doing all this other stuff, right?
No.
And then it happens for the third game. When it gets to about game 7 or 8, then it's going to be like I don't want to hear that anymore. Do Do you know what I mean?
We've
I
done,
did. I
we've
don't
done
want to
like
more
we've
hefty.
done Laka. We can't do Laka too. All right.
And
We can't
Hey.
go there again.
don't Arsenal fans say
Lock
that
us
about
banging
Gabriel
goals in,
Jesus?
Gary. Eddie and
That's-
Kenny.
yeah, they do, but in a certain way though, with Gabriel Jesus, it's kind of valid. You know, he does do a lot of stuff that contributes to a goal scoring threat or goal scoring opportunity, and it's just been a shame as well that he's got himself into a lot of goal scoring opportunities, but the keeper's either saved it or he's just hit the bar, hit the crossbar. You know, so you know, I feel that there's promise. You know, but
Yeah.
that's how I feel it's going to go with Eddie. I'd like it to be wrong. He goes out in his first game, bags a brace and an assist. That'd be great, right? We win three. We score 3 goals, two goals scored by Eddie and an assist. I'd be great, and then he takes it on from there. I would love that to happen. I don't want him to fail. It would be so great for him to have for us to find a solution internally. But this isn't his first rodeo, man. He's been around for quite a while, and I think I've seen everything now that I need to see about Eddie. So,
See, Stan, I think the reason why it's so frustrating as a fan base is that we all know he could do these things. He's done it before, you know. So I think a lot of it is us because he's been at Arsenal for so long.
I was saying this to my missus the other day, right? Because my missus, you know, she likes to peek into the football, and she was watching the World Cup final and out with me. She started asking me about Messi because I think I know all about Ronaldo, because you can't not know about Ronaldo. She goes, but I don't really know nothing about this Messi guy. You know, he seems quite, you know, very quiet and stuff like that. So we watched a documentary about him, and I was saying to my missus, like, people like Messi, you know, Ronaldo, Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp, and even you look at certain musicians like a Keith Moon on the drums or a Jimi Hendrix. What these people have got is that when Jimi Hendrix is playing the guitar, he doesn't read the music, translate it, and play the notes on his guitar and read. He just does it. He doesn't know how it just happens. And I think great footballers are like that. And you know, and it's just something that Eddie probably doesn't have. You know, Eddie probably has to think about what it is that he's doing. Whereas some footballers, they're 2 moves ahead, but they don't even realize that they're 2 moves ahead. To them, this is just the flow. This is just the zone that they get into. So, you know, I think sometimes players have to work at it a little bit harder because they haven't got that natural talent.
Yeah, I mean, you see it on a good day with Partey. When Partey on a good day, his first touch is the next pass, as opposed to I got to stop it and then figure out where I'm going to go with it. He's already thought about that already. He's either going to make that quick turn or the pass is gone. You're like, there you go.
Yeah.
And the thing is with Eddie, you know, if Eddie doesn't have that naturalness about him, he's been coached now for a long time, and there doesn't really seem to be, and you know, he's a hard worker, but it doesn't really just seem to be the improvement that for all of the time that he's been with us, right, and been away on loan and so forth. You know, I mean, you know, obviously his loan spell at Leeds notwithstanding, because it didn't really work out there.
I knew you'd get the notwithstanding in there, Stan. BX is right. Eddie should have feasted on goals in the Europa League. Our group was easy, and we did mess about with the strength of the team, the strength of the T, as I say. But he should have feasted with some more goals in there. Stan,
we had 7 starters mixed in with him. He had plenty of people.
Yeah, even so, he should have scored more goals, right? BS contract isn't much more than 6 months old. It was a lazy deal by the club that will have repercussions going forward. It proves the club has now fully learned its lessons of the past.
Did they just not want to go out and look for a striker?
I'm willing to give the club a little bit of a leeway because we had other things to do. We were doing other things, and we spent a lot of money in the summer.
I agree with Misfit. There are certain times when we've just re-signed a player because it just seems to be, you know, it seems lazy and convenient, because it seems harder work than to try and move that player on and then go out and actually look around and find somebody with the attributes that you're looking for. Rather than do all of that, you just think, we'll just keep what's his face around for another season. He's already here. Do you know what I mean? You know, they know him in the kit room. Everybody knows how he likes his tea. We don't have to change anything. Let's just keep what's his face. And it just seems lazy and convenient sometimes when they do that.
I mean, think about it. We kept we kept Cedric, and he hadn't even played for us. He was injured the whole time, and we didn't have to extend that contract. I think it was like a loan to buy and an obligation to buy, and we bought him anyways. And it's like the man hasn't even shown you anything because he was injured most of that time. Well, what? Why? you,
Uh-huh.
you bought a car. They give you 6 months to test it out. The thing is in the shop for 5 of them, and you figure, oh no, I'm gonna buy it. Why? No, get a new one. Go out there and do a little bit, like you said, go out there and do a little bit more work. They want the players to do more work, right?
Intelligence.
They want players to do
Yeah.
more work when they're struggling. Well, you do some more work when a player doesn't work for you, and you have an opportunity to get out,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I hate that Cedric. I hate that Cedric, right? Because I never wanted him in the first place. But on his debut, man, he scored that corker, didn't he? And I was like, rah, man, oh, okay. And then that was it. I hate it when they do that on their debut. They score a corker and then that's it. They just disappear off into the distance. Willian.
Tony's second favorite club is Crystal Palace. So I'll bring Tony in on this one. Right, Tony?
What, like yours is Liverpool?
Wizard of Oz says everyone knows that if Eddie went to Crystal Palace on free, he would have smashed it. And we would all have said, why did we let him go?
No.
Sometimes a change of environment is maybe what a player needs, whether they know it consciously
Wizard of
themselves.
Oz accidentally got BX's supply. That's why BX is smoking what he's smoking tonight. Wizard of Oz got the good stuff.
Yeah, and of course at the time we talked about it at the time, Odsonne, Edouard, Stan had been banging the drum for Odsonne, Edouard for months, and Crystal Palace went and got him instead of Eddie and Nketiah that summer.
Yeah, because Eddie and Kelly want to take a pay cut.
Even Balogun looks like he'll come back ready to bang. Could Balogun be the number 2?
He's still for me a number. He's still a number 3 if he were to come.
Oh, look
who, Eddie or Balogun?
Balogun could have been a number 2 if we didn't waste a year.
No, but I don't think I think we need a solid.
Hang on a minute. Look who just bowls in like 42 minutes into the show like it ain't no thing.
Mr. Tom.
I mean, come on, what's going on here, man? You know what I mean?
I know. Don't you know the time?
Listen, we're all friends of Mr. Tom because his lead.
Tom hasn't hit the like button.
Notice it took me. Notice it took me to say the word Leeds, and then who turned up? Remember, it was actually like a few seconds after that. There he was.
Welcome, Mr. Tom. Great to see everyone back in here. Fabio's been here 6 months. Teabag, we call him, and already has 3 outside the box bangers, 3 great goals. And Stan, you want to plug it again? Go ahead.
Yeah, because I know Mr. Tom wasn't here, but
I want to hear it better. I want to hear a better lingo, a bit better.
Well, just wanted to let everyone know again, if you've just joined us, that tonight's show has been sponsored by the good old boys down at the Briscoe Brothers Body Shop down in Tampa, Florida. You can reach those guys on 813-879-4421. And remember, folks, it's worth the drive.
10 games already. Do we have a choice? Don't think we do. All right. So, any other points to make about Eddie? I mean, listen, we're not trying to bash him here. We're just stating facts. He hasn't shown up for us this season. He's gotten enough minutes to do so, and he's only got 2 goals in the Europa League where he should have really been smashing it. Yeah. Stephen said Xhaka's output will drop as he relies on Jesus to clear the spaces for him to get his chances without.
Yeah, he already scored for the wrong team in the last game.
Crap out of the center backs. He will be able to pay more attention to Xhaka. The loss of Gabriel Jesus is going to have an impact for sure, and we'll have to adapt to Eddie's play on Monday, most likely as well. Zaha realistically comes in and does an identical job to Jesus.
I don't think I've seen him. I don't think Zaha's done anything close to what Jesus is being asked to do at Crystal Palace, right? I mean, he's not asked to do any of that, but he's
not the hard work.
He's much more. He can probably take the ball and score with it, though. You give him some space, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you want him to do?
Well, that would be the only way we could use him, right? You could take the ball from outside the box and get into the box and take a shot, right? So Yeah, this whole
Are you
under
sure that's
21
what we
score-
want him to do, Gary? Says Tony.
Yeah, we want him to score. We want him to attack the goal. Yeah, that's what we want.
Are you
We
sure
want
you
him
want our
playing in
players to
midfield,
score
like-
goals, Gary?
I
We want him playing in
obviously Tony
midfield
does.
like
He has
Jesus
other
has been
he has
lately.
other ways of winning without scoring. I guess from your forward or your striker or your 9 or whatever we
You
want to
get
call it.
3 points for a clean sheet,
Oh,
Gary.
there you
Didn't you
go.
know that?
There you go.
Tony,
that-
defend yourself.
What? I just said it's
All
what
right,
you
so-
want. It's what you want a forward to do. You want him getting goals. You don't want him playing in the midfield. You don't want him back there like Jesus has been lately, doing the link-up play. You want him up there being a striker.
We are scoring enough goals, right?
Yeah.
With the way that Jesus
Yeah.
is playing, so it's
As,
obviously okay.
as Jesus scoring enough goals.
It doesn't
No.
matter. We are.
Yes, it
What
matters.
What better place do you want to be than at the top of the table? What better place do you want to
Tony's
be?
the
What more do
resident
you want?
protagonist. Yeah.
What more do you want? Come on, stop it, Tony.
Hey,
Tony,
wanna
please.
Hey,
I want to win the league. not
You
Yeah.
can't do that unless
runners-up.
you're at the top of the league. That's where we are right now.
Hey,
Will we be there in 3 weeks?
Tony, I would say after
I give you
14
75% odds we're not there in 3 weeks.
we're not top in 3 weeks.
Yep.
Okay, 3 weeks from now is the middle
70% odds.
middle of January. Okay.
Middle of January. Let's see if
I'll
I can,
take
if I'm
that.
going to take this bet. How much
I'll
are
take
you
that.
betting?
This is the fella who said Gabriel William Saliba would be sold.
So here we
In
go.
the
Are you
summer.
saying the 14th of January?
hey, Ray. Just,
Hey, me and Stan also said he wouldn't be playing at a World Cup. How many minutes did he have in a World Cup?
hey, Tony. Hey, Ray.
Do you know how many minutes he had, Ray?
Tony also said that Ted Fabregas is a really good player. So
All right. Gary, you're gonna take that bet? Let's just see, and then we'll move on
I'll take the bet just because
Okay.
why not? I don't.
because it's Tony.
Yeah,
Right.
because it's Tony.
Mario
Wizard
Lynn
of Oz
versus Newcastle.
2:30 East London. I'm probably just tired.
No, you're not speaking nonsense or anything like that. So you're
Welcome.
good. You're good.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're gonna fit in around here, Wizard of Oz. That's all I'm gonna say. I think you're gonna
If
fit
you
in.
want nonsense, talk to Mr. Tom. He's the king of it. He'll tell you.
Also, check out Gary. Gary has a podcast as well, the WTT, right?
Yes,
the trip,
sir.
the road trip.
enjoy the drive. Sure.
Okay, the burden of playing for Arsenal is too great for Eddie. He needs to change the environment. Let's see what happens with Eddie. Listen. I'm not going to say we're going to have egg on our face if he scores 2 goals and he has 1 assist, as Stan said. We will be happy. Mr. Tom was busy watching a movie. You should have set your watch, Mr. Tom. You know the time. Every week. Well, apart from the last 6 weeks. Every week we're here. Briscoe Brothers, Stan. Okay, Gary.
Ray went on
That's right.
hiatus.
Martinelli. We talked about Martinelli a little bit. This is the value of a prospect, right?
Yes.
Pick this kid up for $6 million. What's he
Yeah.
worth now?
I think we haven't even seen what he's good at yet. He isn't even. I think we still got.
That's not what he
We-
asked you.
Stop. This is my question to answer. He's still got a couple more years till he hits his. He's still got a couple more years till he hits his prime. We don't even know. But
what I told you,
we-
Wizard of Oz, it's starting now. Right?
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah.
Like Tony just wants to fight. I don't want to fight. Come on, Tony. Nah, Martinelli. He's just. I think he's just tipping the surface of what he's gonna do because we still would like to see more goals from him, right? We still would like to see him be a little bit more of a connector with the ball in terms of getting the ball to others so that they can score as well. So he's still got work to do. But he does have the pace to threaten defenses. So yeah, we got to we're gonna have to pay him to keep him, or else we're gonna start all over again, or pay for it. Either way, you're paying for it, right? Either way, you're gonna pay top dollar, top pound, top euro for a player who eventually will look like a Martinelli in a couple years. So I say just give him what he needs and let's move on because we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Tony, go ahead, Gary. Finish.
Yeah. I'm good.
Finish your dinner.
I'm good. No, they need to sign these guys because for me, here's what I don't like. So we've heard all this talk about Martinelli, but we still need to bring players in. I feel like we are a streamlined business and we can't multitask. So if this Martinelli thing takes too much time, guess how many players we'll bring in? Not enough, I think. So
We're still
So this is
14
something.
months on getting Saka signed.
So Tony, this is something Gary, you and I, and maybe others have said. Gary maybe disagrees slightly. There's no room for prospects. There's no room for potluck in your squad. But here's an example of a
even
player.
though his favorite player is the one we're talking about. That was a project.
Here's an example of a
10
player we
goals in his
picked up
first year.
$6 million. It was a
7
project. Marquinhos could be something like that, but we need to entertain these players and hope that they turn into gems like that, Tony.
Yeah. Do you want to know how much he's worth?
Yeah, go to transfer marked. Oh, you're already there. Okay.
I'm already there. I'll tell you that he's worth 42 more million than our new number 9 right now, Eddie Nketiah.
No, Tony. The correct answer. The correct answer is a gazillion dollar.
60 million pounds.
He's worth a gazillion dollar.
60 million.
60 million pounds. That is not bad, Stan. Gabriel Martinelli, a player no fan hates. We all love him at this stage.
As I keep saying, mate, it was only a couple of seasons ago that he was playing keepy up barefoot with watermelons in the streets of Sao Paulo. Now
That's
look at him.
just,
Do you want to know what he was worth in June? 20 million less. That's how much Jesus has raised Martinelli's value this year.
Yeah.
Martinelli's worth whatever manager is willing to pay for him. And I would wager that a manager like Jurgen Klopp would probably pay more than.
He's been trying to seduce the kid for 3 years. Dan.
think about it.
Seduce, more like grooming.
Well, think about it. Look what Sancho went for, and look what Bellingham is probably going to go for, right?
Madness.
And then you have a Martinelli who's already doing it in the Premier League. What is he? He's worth at least 100, right? To a team.
Would you say that Jadon Sancho's made, sort of like look the money that was it? What was it 80 odd million they spent on Jadon Sancho? Doesn't look it, does he?
Mm-hmm.
Just the environment, right? It's like someone said earlier that Eddie could go to Crystal Palace and rip it up. He's been at this environment for so long. Maybe a change of environment. It could be like a new lease of life without him even knowing it. Yeah.
He needed to get that proper loan, right? Because the last loan I didn't even think he played for a full season, right? Or the one where they pulled him back early for no reason. It didn't help him. Oh!
Jim will fix it, Mr. Tom.
Hold it. Take that off. Ray. What are you doing?
It's
because he said it, and then Mr. Tom puts it on. Doesn't mean you have to show it.
We know it was tongue in cheek. Okay.
Nobody knows that. Okay, you clip it, and it doesn't sound like it at all. And
Wizard Ross says the long contract stops at Barcelona, a Real Madrid, sniffing around unless they pay. And Liverpool fans can forget about Gabriel Martinelli now. You know what I mean?
The nice thing is, though, if this is if this is true that a contract ink is going to be put to paper fairly soon, then hopefully you think that's going to cause like a ripple effect. Other people that have got contracts in the offing are saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, we should all sign, right?" I mean, they all talk. They're all in a WhatsApp group or on their headphones together when they're playing FIFA on Xbox, having a little bit of a chin wag. Well, how much is your agent going to ask for? What bonuses did you ask for? They must talk like this. They must, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all around the same age. They're mates. They have chats. So I think if one's going to sign, I think it bodes well for the others that we're hoping they're going to sign. We're the up and coming. Where are you going to go? We're in vogue at the moment, right? We're the fashionable place to be.
And we're going to talk about Saliba and Saka who'll follow on. But Stephen's right here. You are right in a sense, Stephen, but I'm going to put a little.
I figured I figure why.
Trying to say it's
We want to
with
know
it.
how much tea bags.
I mean,
Gary's right.
that Mudrick kid is literally dropping his strides and opening his cheeks for Mikel Arteta. I mean, he couldn't
Man,
make it.
Yes.
He couldn't make it any plainer where he wants to
Are you
be.
trying to say he's a gaper?
See,
Yeah.
exactly. See, this is what's going to happen.
Tell me.
Stan's getting clipped, no doubt about it. Because what we talked about earlier, and now what he just said, you know, it's going to go back. It's going to be one of those where it's going to be a back-to-back video, and you're going to go. I thought they were talking about Arsenal, and it's like, yeah, we thought we were too.
See, this is why we lose new viewers like the Wizard of Oz. This is why we lose
No,
them.
I think the Wizard of Oz is going to stick around. Okay.
why
Steven
we
said
lose
we were in 8th place when we put Martinelli on the pitch. We could afford to do it. We're in first down. We have no room for error with a prospect. Gary's 100% correct on that. When Martinelli didn't play a lot of league games when we were 8th place. You know, he's playing in the Europa League. He was playing in some cup games. I think both
He didn't play any until one pure
things can be true.
got
Yeah,
shaken.
We can't have a prospect in a league game, but we can play prospects in cup games, you know, and gain exposure to the game, get better, and progress. Gary, what do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, I mean, like you said, but Saka, same thing, right? If we didn't see Saka in the Europa League games, we probably wouldn't have known where, we would have known of him, and he probably wouldn't be in the situation he is now, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
So
So I think all parties are correct here. We cannot play Marquinhos in a top league game, Gary.
yeah, I mean, and that's why when you look at it, you're like, well, Nketiah got his time. Marquinhos looked really good when he first came out, but the consistency is going to be a problem for him in this league.
Yeah.
And Fabio needs to just get used to the speed in the Premier League. He's still a little slow, and he is
His
a little
name's
light.
Teabag.
His
Teabag.
name's Fabio Vieira. That's what his mama
Now,
call him.
That's not a bad
His mama
segue.
call him Clay.
Bloody
I'm gonna call him Clay.
Bloody, I didn't even know Alonso left.
That is not a bad segue, right? Because
Fucking hell.
Fabio Teabag Vieira.
No, the man's Fabio Vieira. Stop it.
He liked being called Teabag.
No, he does
likes
not.
it.
He likes
He likes it.
There's
Alonso,
photo
does he like
evidence, Gary. He likes
Does
the
Fabio
comment.
like it, Alonso?
He likes it.
Alonso's impartial here. Do
No
you think
man likes
Fabio
to be.
likes being
No
called
man
Teabag?
I
likes
just
to be
wonder
called.
if Alonso went mute.
All right. Alonso, do you think Fabio likes being called Teabag?
I actually think he does.
I'm the only one on this show.
Remember, Tavares said it in
Does
that
it-
message, and he laughed with sunglasses like a cool sign. So he loves it.
Yeah.
He thinks it's cool.
He
I think
loves
it's
it,
lost.
Gary.
I think it's lost in translation somewhere there. He does it. He thinks you mean, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And you're like, saying,
And I think
no.
Tavares saw it from this podcast when I said it the first time. That's where it started from. Tavares watches this podcast but just doesn't tune in.
Hey, Bargov, good to have you, mate.
It
Good
is.
to see
That's
you.
what he's been doing in France. And
Margrave, wicked.
okay. Besides scoring goals.
Tony, we have two tracks now that our Arsenal players have been on. The one track is the World Cup track, and the other track was, warm weather, winter training in Dubai. Do you think what's going to happen? What are we looking forward to seeing on Monday when they play?
I know what I'm not looking forward to.
Okay,
Can we start there?
sure.
Turkey sandwiches.
Can we not look forward to Rob Holding playing center back?
That's a very real possibility. Saliba will be returning to
You
training.
know what happened the last time he did it
Tomorrow.
against Juventus? He scored an own goal along with Saka. They're scoring for their own teams.
Do you put any faith? Do you put any? Put any faith in these friendlies? These behind closed doors results?
Not the ones that go to extra times after you've already won the game. What the fuck shit is that?
You mean penalties?
Why do they go to penalties after the game's already done?
It was a tournament.
They
It was
want to.
a tweak tournament with rules.
It's stupid.
I like it.
Okay. Alonso, what are we going to see Monday?
You're going to see a blowout by Arsenal. You're going to see Eddie score 1 goal. And I think Saka and Martinelli are going to help him out. I think you see, Ben White play center back. I think Tommy Ellis is going to play right back. I think Gabriel is going to play center back as well. Megalesh. And maybe Tierney's going to play right back.
So you're granting Tony his wish. He won't see Rob Holding starting.
No, I wouldn't mind that idea either. So it is Tony. So
Gary, we're going to have players at differing levels of competitive fitness.
Saliba and Gabriel are rested. So I don't know why we would need to go to Holding. Saliba, what's Saliba been doing?
He played
Wow.
23 minutes, Gary.
He's
he's tired.
on holiday.
So he's
Unrested
tired.
for.
He's tired. He's not even training. Is that right?
Yeah, he's been training, but he may not be competitive. Playing competitive games.
Yeah. I mean, I would like us to go as full strength as possible. So, no, I don't want to see Holding because now we just weaken ourselves. Another player, right? Another position on the pitch. That's why I'm saying.
I think Alonso's put a good back four out there. Ben White in the right center back, alongside Gabriel Magalhaes or Megalegs, and a left back.
Mega legs on here, right? We got Teabag and Mega legs.
When do you guys think we will hear about the signing? Classic Arsenal will announce it at the most opportune time. Probably, I'm hearing in the new year 2023. So we won't hear about the signing for about another week, I would say. Stan, what do you think about Monday? We got players who haven't been playing competitive games that will be coming back.
My biggest worry about the biggest worry about the Gabriel omission, it's not so much about the tactical side of the game. I actually think it's his character on the field as well. The way that he presses from the front. You see that, when the team sort of like talk in little huddles, he speaks a lot as well. I think he's one of those that if you're maybe feeling a little bit off your day or your game, and then you go out and play and you see Gabriel, he actually manages to pick you back up because you're like, well, fucking hell, look at him all over the place. He makes you, just by the way that he plays, brings you up to another level. So that's something that I'm a little bit worried about, that we're going to miss that part of the game. Is there anybody else that's going to be able to assume that? Well, I'm not sure about Eddie in that way. So we're going to have to look at our captain, Martin Odegaard, is going to have to pick up the team. Our real captain, Granit Xhaka, because he's really calling the shots, is going to have to, make sure that he's got everybody up to that level. But I mean, if you're a footballer playing at Arsenal, I mean, how much motivation do you really need? You're sat at the top of the league.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really big prize ahead. If you watch that interview with Mikel Arteta from Sky with Jamie Carragher, he asked him about when he came in as a manager, about what his plan was, and he said that he had, I think, a 5-year plan with all of the goals and all of the things set up along the way and all of the things that they needed to hit. And he asked him whether he was ahead or behind on the plan, and he said ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you want to take a step back? Sorry, Gary.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, this just reminds me, like, you ever been on a track? You've seen a relay team, right? And they've got basically 1 weak link, right? Like the slowest guy. He's not slow, but he's slower than the
Gary,
other three.
Let me just say to Wizard of Oz, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell, because we're coming back now after the World Cup. We do shows on Thursdays and a Sunday. I don't know if we're doing one on Boxing Day. That's up to Ray. If he is, he might be doing it on his own. but set the alarm and the,
I'll
and the
join in.
notifications. Yeah, and we hope to see you again, mate. Thanks for jumping in.
Yep.
Gary,
Thank you.
Gary's always
Sorry,
be there.
Gary.
Yeah, no, that's
Gary
fine.
Sorry,
can't
Gary. I
miss a
wanted to catch
podcast.
him before he left. You
No,
got to
that's
catch
cool.
him before they leave.
No, I get
Gary's
that.
probably
I
going
get
through
that.
podcasts for y'all being at home.
No, I was just gonna say that you ever seen like the relay teams where you've got like the probably three of the fastest relay swimmers or runners in the world, and then you have the one guy he's really good, but he's just not at that level. Well, guess what? Jesus has got us top of the league right now. We are that
Relay.
that final
Yeah.
leg where you
Yeah.
basically, you know what, you got something to lose now. So
Hey!
you will
No talking about final legs and losing them.
Tommy's
that
on his
one.
final leg
this
too.
is the
You
last
snuck that
leg.
in, Gary. You
This is the
snuck that
last
in.
leg. Yeah,
Ah,
Tony's on his
Gary.
last leg. Oh my gosh. Anyways, sorry about that. But you got that, the
Have
final
some respect, Gary.
the
No,
final
just a minute.
baton
Another
is
thing.
passed by-
One thing, Wizard. In
Yeah,
case you
yeah.
didn't know about this, right? Our man Tony, he lost a leg recently, like last year. Yeah, from the knee down. Right. So check the links and that. And if you've got a couple of quid to spare, join the GoFundMe. We're trying to get Tony a wheelchair and that to get him mobile again. Right. I know you're new around here and that, but it's a big thing that we've got going on here, trying to help our man Tony out because he lost his leg. And he still comes on the podcast and that, and he's still full of jokes. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't
Yeah.
think of it. You wouldn't think it
And now
seriously,
I
but
fucking got one arm.
but anyway,
One arm,
yeah,
one
that's because
leg.
that's because you watch too much Pornhub, right? So don't start all that. Anyway, Gary, please
That's
give me
not
Left-handed.
I
straight off,
tore
mate.
my rotator
And he's
cuff.
left-handed, apparently.
I'm right-handed.
Well, you
He's
were left-handed.
ambidextrous.
Now you're right-handed.
Yeah.
He's ambidextrous.
No, but no, what I'm saying is we've got the best setup, right?
Yeah, we
we've been
do.
set up.
That's your arsenal.
Gary, you just having a shocker the last 3 or 4 minutes.
No, I can't even get anything
That
out.
was
Nobody's listening to me because all they're talking about
It's
is
podcasts
Gary's
like this.
been going
You wish you had
into work
Mr.
and
Tom on to give us an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie review
there you go.
to
There you
save
go.
everything.
Oh man, it's not a tumor. Oh man. Anyways,
we were talking about Arteta, yeah.
yeah.
Get to the chopper. Come on, hold it together. We were doing so well, so
Oh
well.
man.
First
Yeah.
day back.
So no, what I was saying is that we got the perfect setup, right? We're in the front. We got something to lose, and now all 11 players on this pitch all want to hold on to that, right? We're in the lead. Let's keep it.
Yeah.
So you have that little bit extra gear, a little bit extra effort, that little bit better, hopefully clinicalness in your shooting, your passing, everything, effort, all of that, right? Because you got something to lose now. Doesn't matter if Jesus is in there, but
Yeah, but I don't like that, Gary. I don't like that we've got something to lose. You can't say that.
no, because you know what? You do. Well, I'm saying that's one way to look
Don't
at
say
it,
that
right?
to the players.
No, but you know what? It's like having a lead and you want to hold on to that lead. Well, guess what? If you score again, guess what? You can extend that lead and make it even
Don't
even
tempt
harder for the other side. But that gives you something. It gives you that more effort, that more energy to do more than you did. What you've done in the past, right? Because you're going to be targets anyway. So why not just win, right? Why not just try to win? Because everybody's going to try to knock you down anyways, right? We're Arsenal.
Yep.
If we lose, they're laughing at us. But if we keep winning, they're still going to laugh at us anyways, right? Why don't they laugh at us when we're sitting at the top of the table?
I think in many ways we have nothing to lose really because we're not expected to. People expect City to still sail past us. Well, it hasn't happened yet. I can rationalize a little bit. Say this Man City team is another year older. All of their better players is another year older. I can say they put all their eggs in one basket called Erling Haaland. Now it's a big basket, but he's
That's
the only
not a basket. That's my fault. Oh,
He's the only Hulk that can score. If we, I've been saying this from the start of the season. If we get 5 or 6 players that can score 10 goals or more, then we are boosting our chances of winning the league.
We need, why we need that, right? Because because Haaland he's got 8 less goals than Arsenal right now.
Yeah.
That that's where he is right now. He's 8 goals less than Arsenal team, who's top of the table.
Can we just give him a golden boot already?
Something to
Before
lose, but
Boxing
everything
Day.
to win. Well, yeah, this is what we're up against. We're up against Erling Haaland, maybe Foden, maybe Kevin De Bruyne. Those are the 3 players that are going to score the majority of the goals for City. We need 5 or 6 players, and Eddie's got to be one of those that's going to chip in with goals as well. It's got to be Erdegaard, it's got to be Martinelli, it's got to be Saka, and a few others, you know what I mean, that can get us some goals. Stan has, my team works alone. You know that?
My team works alone. You know that.
Okay.
Arnold Schwarzenegger when they brought in Apollo Creed to join the team in Predator.
Mm-hmm. And Stefan, you're right. It is a massive basket. It's a massive Norwegian basket that scores goals everywhere he goes. He's like Tottenham. Instead of getting battered everywhere they go, Erling Haaland scores everywhere he goes. But you know what? All we have to do is keep picking up wins. Keep picking up wins, and we have a 5-point gap. If we can extend that every few weeks to 6 or 7 points, we put some real pressure on that City team. You know? Anyone else want to chime in?
Yeah, I think the only thing that concerns me about this Arsenal team is I believe they were playing a weaker side, and the announcers said, you know, the substitutes had not scored from open play since in quite a while. And as an Arsenal fan, yeah, you know, we're top of the table, but at some point, our substitutes need to score some goals as well. Whether it be Vieira, whether it be Nketiah, what have you. And I know it's not as well. Emil Smith-Rowe can come back, want to prove himself to start starting 11. But right now, you know, that's the only thing that hurts about this Arsenal team currently is that lack of depth, not scoring enough goals when we need them to.
Mm-hmm.
Rio has had chances. Eddie Nketiah is now going to start, and we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I mean, that was part an observation that I noticed also. That no substitute has scored, and that's quite alarming if this team is going to go forward, trying to contend for the title.
Yeah. Am I crazy to make an argument that Arsenal can beat City to the title? You would look at the Arsenal squad and you wouldn't say that's a title-winning squad. It's maybe a title-winning 12, 13, 14 players. But if you're going to have Arsenal as title winners and Eddie Nketiah is going to be there in the squad picture at the end of the season, it doesn't seem to ring true to me. But you know, I keep on trying to make a case for Arsenal. City concentrating on the Champions League because Erling Haaland has been acquired to win the Champions League for City. You know, they could well
He's
win
been
the
acquired
league.
to destroy football.
And
Built in
City,
a laboratory, a cyborg was created to destroy football as we know it. His name, Erling Braut Haaland.
and he would go on to win the Champions League in 2023. You know, but yeah,
he's good
listen,
though, isn't he? He's mustard. He's good, isn't
really
he?
is right. Notwithstanding, additions will need to come.
I still can't believe an idiot that said he would have fucking make it in the Premier League. Some
He's
people
a
say
phenomenon. He's a phenomenon.
He's mustard.
Ferguson would go out and buy another top striker to win the league. Yeah, and this is something.
Yeah, he'd go and get Robin van Persie. Did he? That's what you would do.
No. Once again about Abu Dhabi.
Well, should we go get Rashford?
We should just like break the bank and go and get Harry Kane or some shit like that. I don't know.
Should we get
no
Mbappe.
Ray.
Tonight in the Carabao Cup, Manchester City played Liverpool. They beat Liverpool. Liverpool have gone out of the cup, but City move on in the Carabao Cup. It's a competition they seem to do well in. They're in the quarterfinals. That's another competition that they're going to be involved in.
Here's a fun
Chelsea,
fact for you as well. Over the last 5 years, only Liverpool and Man City have won the League Cup. And they both
Yeah.
put out very strong teams today as well.
So we would expect City to go deep in the Champions League, of course. We would expect City to have an interest in the Carabao Cup because they always seem to have that interest in the Carabao Cup. I'm making cases here for Arsenal, but it all starts with Monday and beating West Ham, right, Gary?
Yep. So we're gonna have to keep going one game at a time because every time we put points on the board, people get upset, and that's all we have to do. So one game at a time, 90 minutes, and let's see where we are Monday night. I guess it will be. But yeah,
that is one of the most enjoyable things so far this season. Arteta Ball has frustrated our rivals, frustrated Manchester United fans, Tottenham fans, Chelsea fans, and maybe some Liverpool fans as well. They didn't see this coming. A lot of our fans didn't. I didn't see the brand of football coming, but pleasantly surprised after 3 years. Arteta's finally got Arsenal moving in the right direction. Yes, you can say 8th place finish, 5th place. We missed out in the top 4 last season, but surely this season we will make the top 4, which is the absolute minimum, and we want to have a title challenge.
I thought all of us had 3rd place was the minimum before the season started.
We all had 4th place as the minimum, right?
I thought 3rd place. I thought everybody said 3rd.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I went after Gary because he said doing good would be getting 3rd place, but he also said it as the minimum. So I was like, Gary, that's not setting your
We
heights
did.
very
We
high.
did make those predictions after I think 5 or 6 games. So we had, I think, 13 points from 15 after 5 games. So, yeah.
I had them finishing second.
What's that?
I had them finishing second,
Yeah, them finishing second.
not
Right.
third.
Let's see what happens.
Sorry, Alonso.
We want to switch tracks a little bit. We'll just talk. Stan, did you want to talk a little bit about the World Cup?
Yeah, a little bit because a lot of people are saying that they felt that the final was the best World Cup final ever, and I actually felt that the first 80 minutes or so were pretty boring. It was near the end where it all seemed to happen, and I also noticed as well a lot of the controversy at the robe that Messi wore. And I must admit, at the time when I was watching it with my missus, when they put that robe on, I said, my missus, well, no, what's that all about then? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's no different, as you know, it's no different for me than the 1978 World Cup in Mexico with the pictures of Pele with the big sombrero on. It doesn't. It's no different to me. So I don't really get what all that fuss was about. Apparently, basically it's an honor, right? He's basically been knighted. It's the equivalent of him being knighted, like the Queen would knight someone. It's a garb that royalty wear, So I get it. I don't understand what all the fuss is about. But the person that really stood out to me in that final was our old goalkeeper, Emi Martinez. I mean, fucking hell. I mean, if you look up shithousery, right? Look up shithousery in the dictionary right now, and there's a picture of Emi Martinez going. I mean, the guy, first of all, during the penalty shootout, I thought his gamesmanship was over the top, man. Throwing the ball away and all of that,
Yeah.
It's a part of the game, right, where now the striker has to face the goalkeeper. It's man against man. Is it all right for a Argentinian person to run behind the goal while Emi's standing there, or a Paris player with 2 dustbin lids while he's waiting? You know what I mean? It's a bit over the top, I felt. And then the thing with the glove, I noticed as well before. I actually didn't see the gesture that he made with the glove when it was live, but I noticed that when he got given his award, and you had to, they had to walk out onto that stage and sort of. He kept biting the glove. I noticed he kept taking his little bite, and I kept thinking to myself, like, I remember thinking to myself, what are you fucking doing? Obviously, it's not made out of real gold, you plum. And then I saw the pictures afterwards, like with the glove and that, and I just felt like it was a bit embarrassing.
Yeah,
to be honest with you,
definitely.
I actually was a little bit like this is your big moment, and that's how you want it to be remembered.
Be
Really?
careful what you say. Ray and Gary still want him at Arsenal.
And then apparently as well, when I saw other pictures, then when they went back to Buenos Aires and they were like, doing the tour around the city with the trophy and that,
Yeah, that was.
he had a baby doll. He had a baby doll with a Mbappe's head on it. I mean,
That's ridiculous.
there's a part of me that laughs at it. There's a part of me that kind of laughs at it, but I'm like, if that was an Arsenal player, if that was William Saliba, let's say France had won the World Cup and William Saliba had been given the best award for a defender and he was doing all of that and whatever, I'd be like, really? I mean, it was proper Guendouzi style for me. That was just proper, like, I would expect him to do that, but I thought it was a bit of an idiot, to be honest with you. That's my opinion on it. I don't find it funny.
I saw that stuff on my timeline where they're celebrating on top of a bus, and it was even so dangerous they took the celebration from the bus to, I think, an airplane. They couldn't be on the streets. But Emi Martinez, is that how he wants to be remembered? Is that the video footage that you want to see of him? Take your win. You beat a really, really good French team, and you saved the penalties that you needed to save. But Mbappe scored how many goals?
4 goals on him.
4 goals.
Man.
This is the
when he done that thing with the shoulders, I was laughing. I thought, okay, I like that. That's quite funny.
He scored 4 goals on
that,
an Emmy, and now Mbappe's his baby. What?
Maybe it's a voodoo doll. Maybe
how does that work? How does that work?
If anything, Mbappe owned him in the penalty shootouts and all the penalties, and I think he scored a goal because I saw some of the highlights later.
Yeah.
I didn't see one highlight.
You didn't see any. Okay.
You're talking like you did. That's he's been talking all through all these shows. The man's not seen 1 minute of the World Cup, but he wants to get his say about.
Gary.
So you have nothing to say.
You're the one that kept bringing me on fucking Mondays.
No, Tony.
City of a World Cup.
No, you're on the podcast.
Why would I bring him on? You on the show? You make it sound like I forced you to come on.
Possibly. Are you in Oklahoma, Gary?
The other thing is as well, right? not just wanted to stick the boot in just on Martinez. I also felt as well that when I watched the England and France game, when that fucking cruncher missed his penalty, Mbappe's reaction. Did you see that one? He was like, he wasn't just laughing. He was like Sid James, like from the Carry On films. He was in full flight, proper laugh. Like,
tell me when you're done, Stan, because I got 2 questions for you.
Again, it's for me. You know what I mean. You're in the middle of a fucking football match in the World Cup, and it just shows you a little bit about the immaturity of some of these guys that have been wrapped in cotton wool all their lives. Do you know what I mean? They get up in the morning, go straight to the football club. Everything's done for them, blah, blah, blah. They go home, get on the Xbox, or back in the 80s and out, went down the fucking boozer and got rat-assed, back to training. Do you know what I mean? It's just...
It makes you wonder.
You know what I mean? It doesn't... Sorry, Gary.
I was just saying people are saying that Zidane is waiting to take over the French team, right? You think if Zidane is the manager for France that you would see that kind of stuff?
Well, I don't know, mate. I know, but World Cup final himself, right? Do you know what I mean?
No, but most of his stuff was done with the ball at his feet, right? I mean, he didn't really laugh at people. He might headbutt you, but he won't do anything else worse than that.
Just don't talk about his sister. I mean,
Can I ask my 2 questions?
No. Before you go, because Stan brought up something.
Oh,
My in regards to that
Tony.
that garb, the garb that Messi wore,
Yeah.
I thought it was okay, but then I was talking to some people and they're like, well, it wasn't that he put it on, it's that he put it on to accept the World Cup trophy. And typically you're wearing your shirt of your country when you accept it, and that's where they were like, well, I get it after he's taken the trophy, but not before. Like
Yeah.
you just won this game for Argentina, you got your shirt on, you go accept the award, and it sounded like they were saying that he took that trophy with the garb on, right?
I,
Not like celebrating afterwards.
I actually felt that, the guy that gave him the trophy was his name Infantino. I thought he was fucking, it's like, all right, mate. I mean, just give him the fucking trophy. How long do you want to hold on to it for? Do you know what I mean?
And the pictures of him hanging out with Salt Bay later.
Oh,
That was terrible. That's like
great.
terrible for football.
But it's great
It is.
marketing. It's terrible. It's wank. But for that Salt Bay guy, that's fucking genius marketing for him.
Thanks.
But he
thanks
looks
to
like
William.
he looks
It's
like
genius.
a donkey doing that, right?
Yeah.
Trying to take the
But
World
just 'cause
Cup
he is a
out of
donkey.
somebody. Look, somebody just won the World Cup, and you're trying to take it out of their hand.
How did he even get on the
What?
pitch like that?
He's
Because
taking the World Cup out of a player's hand who just won it.
because he was with Gianni.
Balls, mate. That's
Infantino
good marketing, though. The
Infantino.
marketing. Just the still of him now with the World Cup in his hand, the still of that he can now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a truly shitty thing, but it's great. The other thing as well, did you notice as well that talking about wearing stuff during the aftermath? Did you notice that after when they were doing their stuff on the pitch, that they all changed, the Argentinians, they all quickly changed their Argentinian shirts, because during the match they have 2 stars above the crest, and 2 stars is about how many World Cups you've won. And if you noticed, halfway through the celebrations, they all had shirts that had 3 stars on, so they had them ready.
Yeah.
So they had these shirts in a box ready. I always wonder what happens to those shirts if you lose. Where do they go? Do they just get sent to an orphanage, or do you just burn them quietly in the garden, or use them as nappies? What happens to them?
Deep in the Amazon.
Yeah, no. See, Emmy is for me would have been is a better goalkeeper than Leno, and that's the reason why we bring him up.
But it's like worse, like even like with Super Bowl shirts and stuff, just
in the middle of
you just show up in some little village and you
some
all
third
these
world
little shirts.
countries got Super Bowl champion for like the Buffalo Bills and stuff, right? So
yeah, Gary, let's talk about this Emmy thing that Stephen has here as well. The situation was, Emmy Martinez.
You guys have talked enough about Emmy.
He wanted
1 minute you want us to talk about it. Now we start talking about it, you complain.
Emmy
You're just a whiner, man. You're just a whiner.
I've heard you guys talk about
Gary,
Emmy for
the situation is Emmy was not flushed out of Arsenal. He would not accept the competition with Bernd Leno, and he wanted to have that move, and Arteta had no choice but to give him his move to Aston Villa.
So was it the right move or not, Gary and Ray?
It was the right move for Emmy Martinez. Yes. Look what happened.
I said for Arsenal.
Well, think about this. We had Emmy, who is decent enough to be a World Cup champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he played well for us, right?
Won an FA Cup with him.
Exactly. So it isn't as
How long was he at Arsenal?
It doesn't really matter at that point. It doesn't matter. It
Anyone?
doesn't matter how long he was with us. But the last thing he did was win an FA
Nothing.
Cup for us, and they wanted to They wanted him to compete, all right? And he didn't want to do that. It's his prerogative. But
Can I ask my two questions?
then they
just
turned
stand
around.
up?
Then Arsenal turned around, and what did they do? They had to go and get another goalkeeper when they had one. Right? It seems like a waste, right? You got a goalkeeper, won you an FA Cup. You keep Leno. You say Leno needs to be able to compete for his kid a spot back, and then you have to let Leno go anyways. So you just wasted your time, right? If you had Emmy, maybe he gets you what you want, and you continue on. But we ended up having to go get a goalkeeper anyway. So,
How's he been faring up a team he's been playing at?
He started out strong, right?
Is
Is his team better? Is it the team he's on right now? Is that better than what Arsenal has right now in front of their goalkeeper?
But how has he been doing?
No, no,
as a
no.
goalkeeper?
Answer that question because that's telling, right? Because Ramsdale was one of the worst goalkeepers, right? Giving up goals like 30+ goals or whatever it was in a season, right? And everybody said he was terrible. How does he look now with a better defense in front of him, with a better squad in front of him? Can you answer that question? Because that's telling as well, right? Because Ramsdale supposedly is worse than Emmy, right? But you wouldn't know it because
Who's the
Ramsdale's
better
looking.
keeper, Gary?
I think I could go with either one right now. It doesn't really matter.
You're still
Emmy or
obsessed with Emmy?
Ramsdale, right? No, I'm not obsessed with him, but I'm just saying it wasn't a move we needed to make.
Obsessed with him.
What, Tony?
It wasn't a move we needed to make, but Emi Martinez forced the hand of Arsenal in making the move. And what was the transfer we got? How much did we get for him? 20 million?
I thought it was
So-
less than that because I said if
he's
that's a starting goalkeeper, he's worth a lot more than that, right?
Tony
That's
should
25.
So here's my
25.
Here's my
Yeah.
take on this
That
whole
was how
Emmy
much?
Martinez, this whole Emmy Martinez situation. I mean, he was at Arsenal for about 10 years or so, right?
Mhm.
And he was under
10
a
years.
number of managers and a number of coaches that saw him up close. And every time Arsenal went through a goalkeeper and he was waiting in the wings, he was never made the heir apparent. He was never given like the gloves, if that's the right thing to say. We always brought someone in. Or we sent him out on loan. He had that good little run. Yeah. But you have to remember, and I said it all the time, during that time when he came into the team, because Leno was out, and Leno as well was also playing really, really well up until that point. But the situation is that we were really a bad team at that time. What I mean by that is that when we were playing football, how many shots on goal were our opposition able to get on us? And I've always said that if you're a goalkeeper and you're constantly being shot at and peppered and blasted, you're going to make a lot of saves. The sign of a good goalkeeper is the goalkeeper that doesn't have to do anything for 85 minutes. And then all of a sudden, someone's bearing down on them. They've had nothing to do and they've got to pull a save out. Not the goalkeeper that's being constantly peppered and constantly blasted at. Because they're alert. They ain't got time to for nothing. They're constantly on it. And that's how we were at that time. So our goalkeepers may have looked hang on, Tony. They may have looked better than what they actually were. Because none of those managers, and as it was pointed out to me in the comments of our pod that me and Ray done, when I spoke about, I always feel that creating goals is the hardest part, not the finishing part. And it was told to me, well, a footballer, Kevin, footballers have said that it's the other. What do I know? Footballers have played the game, say the opposite to me. It's just opinions. If you see where I'm coming from, right? It's just opinions and takes. But with Martinez, he's had a lot of managers that know a lot more than I do and a lot more coaches, and they never put him in at the number one spot. They always brought in somebody else. There must be a reason for that, right?
I'll be right back.
Maybe because they realise he's a bit of a prat. We were like, like we saw his celebrations. We're like, fucking hell. Imagine if he won the FA Cup with this geezer.
No, we won an FA Cup with him, and I don't think we saw that.
They must have
behavior,
sedated
right?
him when the final whistle went. Someone sedated him, right up to him with an injection. Otherwise, he probably stripped his kit off and been running around with it on his head. Who knows? But I will say this about him, and somebody put this on Twitter, and for me, it kind of rounds it off well. He's not a bad goalkeeper. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a terrible goalkeeper, or because I don't personally like him as his character. He's a good goalkeeper. He's just got a bit of a weird, shit, unclassy character in his personality.
Yeah. He definitely is not a Arteta player, right? Not what we're seeing now, because I don't believe we saw much of this when he played for Arsenal, and maybe that's the Arteta effect, right? But he did play well and got us, as you said. The man had hands of steel. That's what we were calling him.
You would think
At
he'd still be
to end that
Arsenal.
to end that season is because the ball would come and he just would stop it right with his hand. It seemed so he was really good stopping. Making stops for us, and
Well,
There's a
again,
point there. I didn't know. I didn't know about that at Reading.
Think about like he
Seven.
he also did some saves against the Holland too, because that also went to PKs. And he did a couple of those shots as well. So one thing about Emi Martin is he can handle the pressure of being in a big game. I mean,
I would have had more time for him or more props for him if he had stayed and had a battle with Bert Leno, because he was just being able to get himself into the team. He had money in the bank, and you can see by Arsenal Misfit and a lot of other gooners, they rate Emi Martinez. And as I said before, I'm not saying that he's a shit goalkeeper. I'm not saying that. I think he may have looked better than what he was because we were defensively bad at that time. So our goalkeepers were more active. But his character at the World Cup, for me, thinks that I'm glad that he's doing that with another team and he's going back to Aston Villa and he's not coming back to Arsenal.
Here's where I'm going to criticize Mikel Arteta. Okay, so you can clip this because you probably won't hear this for a long time again.
What are you going to say about Uncle Artie?
I'm going to criticize Uncle Arteta here because I believe as goalkeepers, you have to, if you're a manager, and Mikel Arteta was not long in that job, probably 6 months, right? Winning the FA Cup. You have to say who your first choice goalkeeper is in that situation. You can't say to two goalkeepers, I don't know who the first choice is going to be. I think you have to clearly say who's going to start the Premier League.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people now say a lot of teams you don't even know who their second goalkeeper is on the team, and as you say, Arteta wanted to have both players that are good enough to start in the Premier League, sitting
And
one of them sitting on
competing
his
against
bench,
each
right?
other.
Yeah,
And I think Emi
like
Martinez never got the answer he wanted, and he had to make a decision for himself. Now, personally, he's won an FA Cup, he's won a Community Shield, he's won a Copa America, and now he's won a World Cup. But
Not bad. Not too
never,
shabby.
he's had this thing about Arsenal, which I dislike. When he's left Arsenal, he's had this problem with
He
Arsenal.
can't wait to just talk
Yeah,
about
he's been a bit
Arsenal.
feisty, hasn't he?
President did have a World Cup.
Well,
With
Tony,
Mbappe and a little Mbappe doll with a
yeah,
Arsenal kid on her.
I think you all four of you might agree with me. If he was still an Arsenal player and he won the World Cup, we'd be embarrassed by what he was doing.
yeah. I just don't think he would have done it though. I don't think what you saw today happens if he's
We
playing
couldn't.
for Arsenal. It wouldn't, because that's not the kind of players that we have in our
The
squad, right?
£17.8 million.
I don't think Unai Emery's going to be too impressed as well. I don't think Unai Emery's going to be too impressed by all that kind of stuff as well. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Why do you say Unai Emery?
I think Unai.
Well, he's the
Emery
manager of Aston Villa, isn't he? He's his manager.
Yes. Yeah.
And I don't think he liked that kind of stuff when he was with Arsenal, right? There were
Yeah.
players that he didn't want at Arsenal, but he was probably being forced to keep them and stuff like that, right?
BX Gunner, Martinez told Guendouzi to hold his beer.
I think I can better what you did.
Yeah. Listen, I'd be embarrassed if I was an Arsenal fan watching, and I'm kind of embarrassed he was an Arsenal player. But
are you embarrassed how much you and Gary?
He'd done that right in front of the royalty of Qatar.
No, think
guys
about
had
it.
shrines
Think
for him at one point.
about that. If Maradona was alive, standing in the stands watching that, would he be like, "Oh yeah, that's cool"? No, he wouldn't, right?
He'd have so much cocaine running through his head, he would have cared.
He wouldn't know what was going
Tony,
on.
that's not- Stop it.
He wouldn't know where he was.
Stop it.
He's like, what? We've won the World Cup.
Needless to say, it was not a good look, and yeah.
He would have been in the toilets, mate, having a nose up, so he probably wouldn't have seen it.
The whole situation with Lacazette as well. He had a situation with Lacazette in the season that he was playing for Aston Villa. There was a lot of rivalry between when Lacazette was playing for us. We should have had a penalty. Somehow Arsenal got in Emi Martinez's head when he left us, and I don't know why. I don't know how he feels that way about it. He must feel like he was hard done
Because
by.
he's there for 10 years, I guess, right?
Yeah,
You know, it doesn't matter to me how long he was there for, but he was starting to do a job eventually. He finally was doing a job you all wanted him to do, and he was told, you know what, you're still gonna have to fight for your position,
and I
right?
think
And I don't think he didn't have to fight for his position because he had the confidence, and that's what we keep talking about players needing to have that confidence that
yeah,
they know where they stand with themselves and where they are in the game, and he knew he was good enough to start in the league. Yeah, right, the toughest league in the world, some say.
Mhm.
Right, he knew he could do it because he'd done it. He just done it. He just won a trophy for it. And as you say, Arteta still wanted. He has his favorites, and think about it. He had his favorites, and it backfired. And how many times has that happened? Right, he sticks with a player, and then he has to turn around and he has to
So
basically kick him
Are
out
you sure
eventually.
that's good?
It's
so
happened too
what
many times.
what I will say about that,
Are
Gary, is I think
You think
following
Leno
on
was
from
his
that
pet? I don't think
that
Leno was his
interview
pet.
with Jamie Carragher was quite revealing in some ways. I think Arteta's
yeah.
made some mistakes in his first couple of seasons. With 2 8th place finishes is obvious he's made some mistakes. And I think he
Ray,
made a mistake there.
Cheers, Ray. Take it easy, mate.
Ray Anderson, good to see you. I think Mikel Arteta's made a mistake there with the goalkeeping situation, as we talked about. But I think Arteta's learned from those mistakes, and over 3 years, you have to learn something in the position, I believe. I don't know if it's a thing that's continuing, Gary, where he has favorites. I see that less and less now.
well, he's gotten rid of those players though. Now he's not going to
They're
bring
all
you
his
in
favourites now.
Well, yeah. Well, he's not going to bring
They're
you in
all
if
his
he's if
children
it's an
now.
issue. Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I don't
He
think
got
he
rid
has
of the
that
step
issue
kids.
anymore.
He got rid of
Yeah.
them step kids, man. They
He's
weren't
a
them anymore. They're not mine.
wicked stepmother comes in and
Yeah, they're not my
basically
kids.
she's. I don't care if I'm
Yeah,
your wife. These kids got to go. You
yeah,
know.
exactly.
But
Alonso, what are your thoughts on Emi Martinez?
I mean, he had a good run in Arsenal during that FA Cup run, and Aaron River then I got hurt. He was respectable, but I think he got too ahead of himself. I think that we signed Ramsdale. Arteta saw something in him that he thought that maybe not only could Ramsdale take over the backup position, but also start for Arsenal. Where Bernardo was okay with being a backup as well. Not okay, but the position he was in at the time, come from injury, he handled it very well. Where Aaron Martinez, though he had his sit on his starting, he came back a backup, and that's what he was, a backup. And he didn't really take his time at Arsenal too well, and he's sitting now at Aston Villa, where he's on a team that's struggling um, to break through, I guess, so to speak. And yeah, I mean, I think that he has time at Arsenal, and that's all it was, his time. And he had a good run, and he had to just stay, be back up, or sort elsewhere. And I think it was also good for the team for him to go, because you saw what happened in the World Cup, that he really wasn't mature enough to be Arsenal. I don't know, but whatever.
I'll make it simple, right? And okay, one quick thing for story, Gary. I'll make it simple, and I know a lot of people won't like it. The reason Emi Martinez left Arsenal, he took a look at Bernd Leno and thought to himself, there is no fucking way I'm going to be able to shift this guy's number one. I may as well get the fuck out of here.
He just wanted a guarantee, and he was never to get it.
He didn't back himself. Gary, you were going to jump in there?
No, I was fine because I was going to jump in, but no, I didn't need to. Yeah.
Can I ask Stan the 2 questions I was asking? 20
Yes.
Did they have anything? Did they have to do with something you didn't even watch, like the
We
World
have
Cup?
to entertain Tony. We have to.
Gary,
he can ask him, Gary, but there's no guarantee I'll answer him. So
Hey, Gary, was it something that I said, or was it just something that I didn't understand myself?
No, I thought when you were talking about when Emmy left. That's all. Yeah.
But what did it make sense?
Yeah. It was good. It was good.
Alonso, keep talking because that'll delay Tony.
Because my goal, my goal on here, my goal on here is to impress Gary, and I don't care that's about Tony. I'm just joking.
So can we do that? Can we do the alphabet before we hear Tony ask his questions? I'll start. A.
First, I want Stan to answer
Well-
Mr. Tom's question for him first.
Well,
Which one is
before
that?
that, Tom, before you get to ask your questions, Tony, we'll go through the Premier League weekend reviews, will we? That should be good for 46 minutes.
No,
good
it's
time.
time to ask a question.
Good time for me to go to
All
the
right.
toilet then.
Go ahead, Tony. Ask the question.
We'll start with 3 questions when Stan ever comes back.
Oh, is he gone?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Gotta go to a toilet.
So, while we're waiting for Stan to come back, Gary, Emi Martinez or Ramsdale, which is the better goalkeeper right now?
Right now, I think it's Ramsdale.
I would
Which
agree
one's
with
worth
you.
more?
I would agree with you.
Yep.
What's
Listen,
their value?
No, I think I think Ramsdale is what he wanted, but the fact that we didn't need to get him, you know what I mean? Like, Emi wasn't that bad of a goalkeeper. That I'm missing something important here that's going to hurt us.
Why do you
right?
have an echo all of a sudden, Gary?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I haven't changed anything on my end.
Alonso's been on the AL.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I don't know.
Man's taking the piss, literally. I agree with you. I think World Cup is a cup competition. I think it's a tournament, and you can be good for a month and be the best team for 4 years. You don't have to be the best team to win the FA Cup. Tony, Martinez, or Ramsdale?
Of course, I'm gonna go Ramsdale.
Okay.
I don't think he's actually a better keeper, but
What, he asks you a question, you say the opposite, and then you go, wait, but I mean something else. No, either he
he
is
asked
or he
which one
isn't.
I would pick.
No,
I would pick Ramsdale. Doesn't mean he's
Okay,
a
we
better.
are experiencing echo still. Is that you, Stan, or Gary?
What's that?
Echo.
I was away.
Echo.
still hear it.
It's not me.
no,
Me.
Tony, let's have Tony's questions for Stan.
Stan, do you want the most obscure one first? Or do
Go
you
for it,
want
man.
the obscure one second.
Good news, bad
Go on.
news here.
Go on.
Well, you mentioned that it looked like he was going to get knighted. So, can Prince Charles knight someone now, or does he have to wait until after he's coronated?
What does that
I've
have to
been
do with
pondering this
anything?
for like 3 months. Now I
Oh.
get to ask a question.
Tony, next
Well-
time you want to ask a
well-
question, you must be granted.
Let him go. Let him get passed through legal, and then we'll let you ask them. All right.
Yeah.
Pass it through legal first. All right. Next time.
Okay, that
Stan,
was the obscure
Dan, you don't
one.
really have to answer that, but
Yes,
if
you do, Stan.
If you choose to, go right ahead.
Yes or no?
Well, he is actually the king, even though he hasn't been coronated yet. So he in effect could. However, they do that knighting shit at a certain time of the year. So by the time it comes round again, he will have been coronated. So you know what I mean? Doesn't wake up on a Monday morning and think, right, I'm going to fucking knight someone. Do you know what I mean? It's going to go out and it's all done on a certain time of the year. But yes, he could.
Ray Anderson is right.
And your next question.
My next question: how does it feel right about
I feel like Norris McWhirter on
About-
Record Breakers.
about Mr. Saliba not playing many minutes for France? He only played 23 minutes. How do you feel?
Hey Tony,
How
what
do you play?
Well, I've kind of said that I didn't expect him to because France have a lot of good defenders, as we discussed, right? I'm glad that
And
he
one
had
of
the
them was even
experience.
hurt.
I'm glad that he had the experience, though. You know, it's good for him to have the experience, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be playing for me against West Ham.
Yeah. I think Arsenal, in some ways, we've been lucky that we're on the cusp of a lot of players really playing well for their national team, but they're not quite there yet. Gabriel Jesus wasn't first choice, but he got in because Neymar was injured. Saliba, some would say if he played in the final, they could have won the game. They could have won the final. if William Saliba was playing. Is he better than Raphael Varane? Possibly.
Well, look at the league and then tell me who's the better center back in the toughest league in the world, as many say, right?
Agree with you. Yeah, definitely. My New Year's resolution will
no,
be not to agree with Gary as much.
No, you're reaching. Varane, I mean, has so much more experience, and he did play some good games. Yeah, he's had a bit of a torrid time at Man United, but if you're the manager, I mean, in the World Cup, you're gonna go with that experience. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I get it that we have our Arsenal sort of tinted glasses on, but I mean, he's still a pup. He's got more World Cups to come. Do you know what I mean? Once he wins the league with Arsenal this season, he'll have even more stock with the French team. So it's all good.
The French team do not know when they'll get to another.
If Konate got injured, would he played any minutes? Yeah.
I mean, look at you, Upamecano. I saw him have some really bad moments, but he had some really good ones as well. But they're really overstocked, you know. And William Saliba's going to get he's going to get his chance because players like Prince Kimpembe and Varane, you know, there's a 4-year gap now to the next World Cup.
Yeah, 3.5.
4 years time, man. Yeah, well, 3.5, whatever it is, man. You know what I mean? Like William Saliba will be the Rolls Royce.
Yeah, there is no guarantees in life. The French team may not ever get to a final ever again. Who knows? But you know, we'll see what happens.
Not very likely.
Oh, they will. Come on, they will.
I think. Did the manager take Giroud off in the final?
What a World Cup he had, huh?
Yeah,
because you know, think of it. If Benzema was in, he would not have seen as much of Giroud. Giroud was there as a backup, a plan B, someone to play. You know, if you win your groups by you know, and you've still got a game to go, he'd get a game there. And look at him, man, got called upon. Man, is he the highest scoring player for France? He's beat Platini in that, right? I mean, it's unbelievable when you think about it. You look at where he was before he was at Arsenal.
Henry is looking at Giroud.
You look at where Giroud was before Arsenal. You know, he wasn't playing for like the Paris Saint-Germain out there in France. You know, his career in hindsight, and I say it now, in hindsight, and hindsight is a terrible thing. We should have kept hold of him for a little bit longer.
Yeah, hindsight.
You know what I mean?
Would say, do we not do the deal for Aubameyang? Do we keep Giroud at Arsenal? You know, hindsight is a terrible thing.
And I'm not saying it like I was one going, oh, we should not sell him and that. You know, I thought maybe it was time to try something else. Tony,
but Tony you know, we needed a number one striker at that point.
Tony can tell you the timestamp on the podcast that he actually said it.
I was wanting him to be captain.
You're right, Gary. We did need a talisman. We did need a striker.
Yeah. If we had a striker, then he would have been the guy. I mean, it's not like he has. I mean, for Chelsea, he did well, but they had a much better team than us at the time. So, but we needed a number one. They went and got 2, right, back-to-back windows. So they got what they wanted.
Lacazette and Aubameyang. Yeah. And Aubameyang was good for a couple of seasons and won the FA Cup almost single-handedly on the pitch.
No, he did not.
The man was the only one that scored for us in the last 2 games of the
Who
FA
was the
Cup.
most valuable player during the FA Cup run?
Do you win if you don't score? I'm just wondering.
It's
Can
3
you tell
letters.
Me,
it's
That's the best ever,
N.
Tony.
Niles is why we went on the FA Cup run.
Do you win if you don't score? Tony, can you win a game if you don't score?
Did we switch to a back 3 and start winning?
Oh my God!
I'm not asking you about a formation. I'm asking you.
I can't defend you, Tony. I can't defend you.
Do you win if
Come
you
on,
don't
Greg.
score? Do you win if you don't score?
Hello there.
Answer Gary's question.
What?
Can you win an FA Cup if you don't
Yes,
score?
you can, because it can go to fucking penalties.
Tony, Tony, whenever you get defensive, why do you yell so much?
Oh my God, Stan.
It's
Are you telling him to say these things,
Mr.
Stan?
Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Tony, we can hear you.
Order.
So Tony just said that Aubameyang didn't win the FA Cups. It was who Tony?
Jaka.
It's Niles.
Maitland Lyons.
Maitland
okay.
Niles won it for us. Okay.
Oh my god.
Go back and watch the FA Cup run.
History book is being rewritten. Okay, sorry, Alba.
Who was the best player of the first 7 games?
Had
They
to
got
better.
benched,
The last
Because
2
he
games when we
missed the
needed to
practice.
win, who scored?
missed a team meeting.
Tony, who scored in the last 2 games, the semis and the final for Arsenal?
Oh boy, who was
Who?
making
Who?
40 grand
No,
every time?
no,
he
no, no. Who
banged
scored?
in?
Who
Who
scored,
was
Tony?
making fucking 40 grand every time
You
he
haven't
banged in
said the
goal?
name, Tony. Say the name. Come on, say it.
Well, what was the goal bonus? What was he getting fucking paid to do?
You get a goal bonus and you score, but who was that guy scoring and making 40K on the 4 goals that he
40K
scored?
a goal.
Oh my god. Who was it, Tony?
And he won
I'd
an
be
FA
making
Cup for it.
goals too.
Yeah,
Fucking
you would.
wrapping up
Yeah,
For
the
you
those that
would.
may be listening in on Spotify, Aubameyang was receiving £40,000 a goal bonus. So
Enough to
And
go
apparently
wrapping
Ainsley
They were-
Maitland
they were-
Lyons
and they
scored
were- they were
both
worth
goals
it.
in the FA Cup
They were
final.
worth it, right? Is everybody?
hold on, I
anybody
thought he was
here
talking about. Hold on a minute. I thought it was. I heard letters, and my brain just heard like Emil Smith Rowe. He's saying that
No.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles won us
Yes,
the FA
yes,
Cup.
yes, yes. Did you not know that's where I'm asking him? How do you
Step
win
on.
if you don't
It's all
score?
Tony. It's not me.
It's not
You
even
know, that-
Emmy.
that's-
It's not even Emmy. It's a Maitland Niles.
Tony, you need to have a look at the setting and the morphine, man. What's going on?
The drip.
How can you get any paid pills from the first
Yeah, man.
32 hours?
What's up? BX had the
My
bad.
rotator cuff
Hey,
completely
hey,
torn.
Hey, Tony, you still haven't answered Gary's question about who scored the goal.
How much money was he getting paid?
You haven't answered my question, so I'm not talking to you anymore.
You're asking a ridiculous question.
No, I'm asking you the correct
Strikers
question.
score. That's what they're fucking supposed to do, Gary.
I'm with Stefan.
They
It's
are.
like-
They
it's
are.
becoming
Like the
it's
one we got right
EastEnders.
now. The one we have right now, the striker we have right now to get paid to score. Is that what he does?
Oh, Tony.
It's becoming like EastEnders. It's like Tony says something, and you hear the EastEnders drum at the end.
Okay, we'll rewrite the history books just because Tony said.
Ainsley
We've
Maitland-Niles.
talked
Fucking
about
hell.
this before. It's not the
Right.
first time that has been said on the channel.
All right, we're gonna leave.
Not
Emmy
yet.
Martinez.
Can I?
really.
There's something I wanted to mention, right? Because
Mhm.
something happened to me. Since we've had no like World Cup and everything, right? I'll tell you this
Did
little
you
story. There's
square
something that
up
happened
the
to me.
Baker man?
So I was like flicking through Twitter, and someone said I saw someone tweet out, and it said, "Can you name our best ever football player? Wrong answers only." You know, and I'd had a few beers and that, yeah. So
yeah.
what I did was, yeah, I posted a picture of Glenn Helder. Right,
Mhm.
remember some of you, I don't know how young you all out there, who used to play
Early
Dutch player,
90s.
left wing.
Yeah.
And I put the picture of Glenn Elder, and I put that bloke that we signed from 80s pop band The Barge, and that was like the thing, right? And then someone else started talking to me in the comments and said, "Oh, is that big man Glenn Helder?" And I was like, yeah. And I was like, Glenn Elder was like a player that I really wanted to do well for us, but
He had
his
some
off
good
pitch,
stuff.
but his off pitch demons. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
really sort of like kept him from realizing his true potential.
Mhm.
And I used to live in Amsterdam, right? I used to live there for like 18 years and that, right? And then after that, the guy said, "Oh, right." And then I said, like, yeah, apparently like sleeping in his car, like due to gambling and that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was walking past this bar one night in Amsterdam on Valentine's, and I had a poster saying that they had a band on. And then attached to the poster on a scribbled bit of paper, it said Glenn Helder on drums. But anyway, the next day when I looked on Twitter, Glenn Helder fucking answered. I mean,
Why
I
do we have an echo
never
again?
added Glenn Helder in the tweet, but Glenn Helder, when I said my comment, he saw my comment about like, you know, always want him to do well for us, but his off-pitch demons, you know, blah blah blah, and he said something like, you know, well said, you know, thank you, and there's like love hearts and like a fucking praise thing, and then I thought to myself, he must have wrote that, and then he probably saw the bit afterwards when I was talking about him sleeping in his car, and and stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is like I was talking
Did
to
he
someone on
unlike
Twitter. Right? I was
Does
just
the
like
like
chatting.
still
You know,
stand?
like someone said in the chat box earlier, right? They said this like 4 guys talking then in a bar. I was just chatting to someone. I never outed Glenn Helder.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
brought him into that conversation, right? But somehow he saw it, and
He's probably
I
searching
felt,
Twitter. if
but I
anybody
felt
mentions
really,
his
I
name.
felt really bad because I'm like, I felt really bad, right? Because what I said wasn't a lie, but at the end of the day, like, who wants like their transgressions or their downtimes to be, you know what I mean? But I never thought of it like that because
He probably
I never added him,
Robo
and
that
ever since that
every time
happened,
his
it's
name's
made
mentioned, it comes up.
Tony, will you fucking shut up? Right? Ever since I'm trying to like this is like the sad moment of the podcast. This is like the
See, how am I supposed to
you know what I mean? This is
cry
like
when
the
you're
bit.
making me
This is
laugh?
that bit,
Man,
right?
where
And
are
Tony's
you
like
like
these
fucking,
cry and laugh at the same time?
Tony's fucking going on, right? I'm trying to, but the thing is, right? I
He's-
felt really.
He hasn't had. He's gone through a withdrawal.
Glenn Elder's watching this and he's thinking, "You fucking bastard, you're still mocking me, aren't you?" I'm not, Glenn. I felt really bad, right? Because I'm like, I didn't at him or anything, but he's seen, you know what I mean? He saw that, and then he must have, because he never responded to the next bit, and I deleted it after a while. But I felt what the point I'm trying to make is, right? You never know who's watching. Even when you're on social media and you're talking between 2 people,
King Charles
Or
could
he
be
has a
watching.
search
right?
engine up.
And you're
on
going like
Twitter.
such and such and
Every
such
time
had a
he's
really
mentioned, it comes up.
Tony. You're saying such and such had a really shit game. He's a fucking shit cunt. Even though you don't at him in it, they might see it. Do you know what I'm getting at? And I never want to like do someone over like that. And I felt really bad. And I was like, first of all, I was like, fucking hell, Glenn Elder. What was he fucking? Imagine this, right? Imagine this, right? I'm sat in a pub, right, with you 3. We sat there having a chat, and you go like, "Tell us about an old football player," and I start talking about Glenn Elder. I don't expect Glenn Elder to pop up next to me in another seat and go, "All right," what are you saying? You're like,
I'd pick
"Fuck."
Eddie McGoldrick.
Or
Eddie McGoldrick.
he's the server bringing your beers, and you're like,
But the point I'm trying, I know it's a long way. The point I'm trying to make is you never know, right? Who's out there? You know what I mean? Like seeing what you're saying and that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure. King Charles could be watching this as well.
But, however, I'm not going to go back and delete any of those Ozil tweets. Them Ozil tweets are staying. I like every season.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Tony, you're right. I think we're definitely not getting to the upset picks. Or
you know what? It's because of him.
And I do have one other. And I do have one other
Stan's the
story.
one that's been talking for 32 hours.
And I have one other
let him
story that
speak.
I'd like to share. I have one other story that I'd like to share. right?
Better be about me and my
Right.
wheelchair.
making sure.
Because you know, I'll make it short. This is a World Cup kind of story because Lionel Messi is, you know, he's now fulfilled his legacy. You know, he's finally won the World Cup. People are arguing, is he the GOAT and that? But I'll tell you this little story, right? Years and years and years ago, right, when Facebook first started, very first started, I'm talking fucking years ago, it was this really weird thing. I remember, like, I went onto Facebook, right? I put up I created an account, and it wasn't like, you know, look for your mum, look for your cousin. It was like, who's on Facebook? So I went into the search bar. I'm like, Paul Merson. Paul Merson's on Facebook. Send a friend request. Friend request accepted. That's what it was like. Everyone had these new accounts. People were just accepting accounts, right? This is before their agents, PR people said, no, we've got to take this over, right? So I was on there, right? I had people. I had Jeff Stelling. I had Paul Merson, Matt Letizia, Ray Wilkins, all these people, and they would like chat on these chat things, and you can see them. But one day I'm on there, I think, like, who else can I look for, right? So I thought Lionel Messi. He's got a profile on Facebook. This is years ago, right? Send a fucking friend request, right? Friend request gets accepted. Anyway, one day I'm on Facebook, right, and I saw this guy sent Messi a message, and he said something, right? He commented. Messi put a post up about something. This guy asked him a question in English, right? And me being like a cheeky fucker, I said, like, underneath, mate, he probably doesn't even speak English. Anyway, like, he ain't gonna reply. He probably doesn't even speak English, mate. You know. Anyway, 10 minutes later, Lionel Messi answers, right? I swear to God, in English, this is what it texts. This is what it said. It said, no. He put no twice. No, I do speak English. And I was just like, I was like, the world's best footballer has just answered me on Facebook. I never responded or nothing. And then gradually, all these people, all these accounts disappeared. You know, they had PR people, but originally on Facebook, people were just accepting requests for friend requests. You could talk to any fucker. But that was my Messi story.
And this is why we're not going to get this check game of the week.
We're at 2 hours now. Yeah.
Tony, have you fucking spoken to Messi? No, you haven't. So wind your neck in.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure he did?
I think the week that Messi wins the World Cup, you're allowed to tell a story.
You know, I rather hear Stan talk about his stories than have Tony talk about who gives a fucking match week.
Well, I learned that Ainsley Maitland-Niles won the 2020 FA Cup for us.
We did. Nobody knew this.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah, in his highlight zone.
I didn't know that he scored 2 goals in the FA Cup final and the semi-final.
Start winning.
Yes, I thought it was the other guy that scored.
What formation were we playing?
Hey, do the back because it's perfectly clear that that's what you play, Tommy. We mentioned that 15,000 times a week. They've had to the back.
All right.
Which never works, by the way.
Does anyone else have stories, comments to make about anything else other than the Premier League weekend preview?
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
we were going to talk about that, weren't we?
Yes, Dan.
Hey, I have a question. Tony, why don't you ever ask me a question like you do Stan and Gary?
Because he doesn't like us. It's all right. It's all right.
I've hosted a show and asked you questions.
No, hold on.
Gary and Stan interrupted the whole time.
And
I couldn't mute you because Ray wanted to give me the power.
Now you know why he never got to answer. Because he doesn't let you answer. That's all right.
Talk today, Tony.
Nice one. Tony has started up all his numbers. Yeah, you have like podcast fever, Tony.
What else do you want me to do for 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks I've been like this. Stuck at home. Come on.
Yeah, I mean you moved from your left hand to your right hand now, so you better keep talking.
Just been cleaning his guns for 6 weeks.
I'm not going to Oklahoma now. Every time you bring that up, I'm not going. Keep scaring me with that talk. No.
Gary's the first one there.
I'm not going. You scare me.
All right, listen, we'll get into a little bit of the Premier League weekend preview. Maybe last 20, 30 minutes and get out of here. You did this, Tony. Stan, you did this.
What did I do?
You're here for another 30 minutes.
Prince Charles, and we got a 20-minute story about Lionel Messi on
All right.
Facebook.
Gary, who are we blaming for the longevity of this podcast? Tony or Stan?
Tony, even Stan had to tell. Tony, Stan doesn't usually tell people to just. I think he said "shut up" if I recall. Or he said "be quiet, Tony." I don't think I've ever heard him say that to anybody.
Actually, he said it 3 times.
Oh, so okay, so you hit
a hat trick.
All right, we're glad, Stefan. Maybe we're glad you woke up. You're glad you woke up. So good to have you here. There are 11 people still with us today. So
somehow we still only have 4 likes.
Tony, so I won't forget about you. You start off. Brentford at home to Tottenham. 10th versus 4th place.
Oh my God. Time's ticking, Tony.
You don't have to look at anything. Just answer the man.
I said probably a draw.
Alonzo, this is the in-depth preview.
I don't give in-depth. I tell you who's that fucking get the points and we move on.
Alonzo's looking up
to where they are usually. He actually did say it for once, right?
Yep.
He did say all
right, you went for a draw. Alonzo, what do you got?
I'm going for Brighton at the upset.
Brentford.
Is it a game at here Oh, excuse me, at Brentford or Tottenham?
Brentford.
It's at Brentford.
Brentford.
It's a London derby, no North London derby. Ivan
What's the
Toney
points
hopefully
on that?
picking up where he left off against Manchester City.
Well, is he suspended?
What?
Oh, Brentford, right. So he's playing then.
Brentford versus the Scum. I have to skip Gary. He doesn't want to comment on
I
Tottenham.
already gave you my pick for this one, anyways.
But Ivan Toney's not suspended.
He's not suspended yet. They keep adding more and more charges to his list. So who knows when they will finish that?
That's what I heard. It was 30 counts.
No, it's like 280 something
Oh,
now.
Jesus
So
Christ.
Yeah, it'll take years, right? Arsenal could probably sign him.
He'll go to a court of
hanging over him.
arbitration and win.
He'll have the whole career of Arsenal and still wouldn't be charged with anything. Stan, what have you got? Brentford, Tottenham.
I think Brentford could give him a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's very difficult to know. Everything resets. Hopefully, Arsenal will come back playing the way they have been playing. Nothing tells me they won't be, other than Eddie Nketiah, which we talked about at length. But I think Brentford
Tottenham's goalkeeper's going to come back feeling a bit shit. Harry Kane's going to come back feeling a bit shit. Who knows? You know.
So Harry Kane gets a penalty. Nailed on, right? It's nailed on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Harry Kane.
About that.
If I was a betting man, I'd put that into your parlay, put that into your accumulator. Harry Kane scoring a penalty. Gary, Southampton at home to Brighton, 19 versus 7.
See, it's a road game. Not that it means much at the start, but I'm going to go draw. It shouldn't happen, but I'm thinking draw there.
Are you gonna go upset on that, Gary?
I already told you. Already saw what my upset pick is.
He's
No, I
not-
haven't.
He's not. He outed himself out of the group.
Oh, that's right. All right. Well, then you don't know that. You just got to find out when the scores come in.
Tell the people that's watching, Gary.
No, I'm
What
not
you're supposed to
telling.
do.
It's one of the perks. One of the perks of being on the ends, Tony. That you get to know these things.
So it's stacked against me, and I'm still in the lead. Well, why isn't that up there? Why isn't the points up there?
I'm going to do that now since you start complaining about these things. Yeah, Tony, you are in the lead. I thought it was Sam. All right. It's pretty tight
I've
up
been
there.
ahead of Sam for like 6 weeks now.
Yep, you have. There hasn't been a game, but you've been ahead. A little bit
I'm
like
for
Arsenal.
6 weeks before that, though. So
Arsenal
12
5
weeks.
points ahead.
I'm going to say I've had a 12-week lead.
I think Southampton could upset Brighton. It may be one of my picks, but I haven't decided yet. Stan, Southampton, Brighton. Did I go to you already?
I think Brighton.
Okay. And Brighton have been a pretty decent outfit so far this season in 7th place.
Thing is with Southampton, though, you know, they are that team that always do pull some games out of the bag, especially at home as well.
At home.
They're a very hard team to predict, Southampton. You know, they can get beaten 9-0 and then go and beat a team the next week 4-0.
Yeah. I think Southampton might upset Brighton. Alonso, what do you think?
I'm going for Brighton.
You're going to go for Brighton. Okay. Next one. I'll stick with you,
You
Alonso.
skipped me, asshole.
Did I skip you, asshole? Southampton. I thought I talked to you about this, Southampton, Brighton.
Nope.
Okay, go.
I'm agreeing with Gary, girl.
Okay. Tony, Leicester at home to Newcastle.
I almost want to go for Leicester since they're at home, started playing good. But Newcastle probably pulls it out on the road.
Okay. I'm hoping Leicester will do something here, Gary.
I do agree with that, but I don't think I had that in my thought process that that would happen. I think Newcastle's just got too much. And Leicester
are very well organized.
Yeah,
right?
Leicester could surprise them, but I don't see it. But
Okay.
so yeah.
3-1 to the tune, says ready. Stan?
I mean, you have to remember, we're all looking at these, and I suppose we're all going off of what we remember in the league when the league was still going.
Yep.
So but I think Newcastle, in that kind of vein, will probably beat them.
I think if you pick the right one this weekend, you could pick up some good points.
I almost want to go with Leicester though.
You
Just
think
'cause they started
Newcastle will be
storming up the table.
Yeah. Now, Tony, they've beaten the teams around them at the bottom. I do remember that from 6 weeks ago. Alonso, Leicester at home to Newcastle.
I say draw.
Okay. I'll stay with you, Alonso. Crystal Palace at home to Fulham. 11th versus 9th.
Palace tonight. Palace tonight.
Palace are 11th. Fulham are
Okay.
9th.
I heard Palace.
Okay. I think Crystal Palace will be Fulham. Gary?
Yeah, me too.
Tony? Patrick Vieira needs a win.
Huh? At Selhurst Park, we'll have a mid-table who gives a fuck game of the week here.
I think that would be an entertaining game.
Yeah, it's probably to be entertaining. Palace should squeak it off like 2-1. 2-1 Palace. At home at Selhurst Park.
Okay. Stan?
What is it again? Sorry,
Crystal Palace at home to Fulham.
I think that's a draw.
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
stay with you, Stan. Everton at home to Wolves, 17 versus 20th.
Ooh, again, I think that could be a draw as well.
A lot of draws, a lot of X's in the pools.
Yeah.
Poor draw. Alonso, Everton, Wolves.
You saw it coming. This is actually my fun, very fun I Care game of the week. And it goes to Wolves.
IGAF game of the week.
I-
Wolves.
I
Yeah,
Care.
Wolves getting off the bottom of the table. I think Everton win that game. Everton are a decent team, albeit notwithstanding in seventh place. Gary, Everton, Wolves.
Is that new striker for Wolves going to be playing?
Probably not.
Okay.
'Cause he'll come in January, right?
Oh, is that when he comes? Okay.
Probably.
I thought some of these
There
players
you're
are.
getting ahead of yourself. You don't get a Boxing Day surprise.
Well,
Who are you
the
talking
January
about?
window-
Costa. Costa's already
January
at Wolves.
window for a
No,
reason.
Kuna.
Cunha. It is called the January window for a reason.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna say Wolves win this.
It's not called the December window. I had to
Gary's
throw-
going with a Boxing Day
I had
surprise.
to throw Tony a bone there. You understand, Gary?
I hear you.
Tony, Everton versus Wolves.
Yep. You know what this is? This is my second Who Gives a Fuck game of the week.
Oh, man.
Surprise
come on.
midweek one.
This guy does.
We don't care.
Okay.
I do.
I think I'll agree with Ray. Everton should win. Wolves are terrible.
Okay. Let me ask all of you a question. Out of those 4 games, which is the best game to watch? The 4
Okay.
games.
Leicester, Newcastle.
Okay. Leicester, Newcastle. Yeah, I'd agree with that one. Alonso?
Like I said before, this is my I Care match week ×2. So Wolves Everton. Because if you think about it, Wolves are fighting relegation, right? So they need the points.
Yeah, they do, for sure.
They're both fighting
Okay.
relegation. Alonso.
Gary,
Wow.
the
Most of
lunchtime
Wolves.
or the 5 o'clock kickoff, Aston Villa versus Liverpool. Liverpool need to get back on track, need to win consistently to get into the top 4. Unai Emery is waiting for them at Villa Park.
Yeah, which means that something is coming. Yeah, winter is coming or something like that, right? So it could be a. It could be a. It could be a.
Did you think did you do that or did you
I
just-
did not see your shirt. I did
that
not
was
see your
lucky.
shirt.
You're making it
But,
sound like Unai Emery's the Walker King or some shit.
No, but you could see him doing something. You know he's going to do something, right?
winter is
So-
coming?
So yeah, that could be
Yeah.
a. And the way Liverpool played today, I mean, they looked really easy to score on, right?
Mhm.
And you don't want to give an Unai Emery team opportunities to score. So I'm going to upset. It's going to be a draw, that one.
Yeah. Okay. I think Liverpool have to win that game. I do see them winning the game, though. Tony?
Liverpool wins, like Ray said.
I mean, they're not infallible. They do drop points away from home. Stan, Aston Villa, Liverpool?
Exactly just what you said there, that word, infallible. And I think
Yeah.
if anybody can get the better of them, I think Unai Emery probably can.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Okay.
and I think Aston Villa kind of have like a new manager bounce and a change of direction and training and stuff like that. And I was considering this for my upset. It was one of my considerations, and I think that Villa could get the 3 points.
Okay, so if we're recommending games, obviously you're watching Brentford, Tottenham. We recommend Leicester, Newcastle will be the most interesting game of those four, and then Aston Villa, Liverpool. So a lot of football on Boxing Day or Stephen's Day, as we say. Alonso, did I go to you?
No.
Aston Villa, Liverpool?
Yeah, I mean, Emery has the villains playing pretty well. But Liverpool are not the teams that they were in the past. So I think it'll be a high scoring draw.
A draw there. Okay. We're going to save the Arsenal West Ham one because obviously we're all going to say win for Arsenal, right? We'll save that one for the end. Gary.
Tony may surprise you.
I already picked against them and won already this year.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles will be back in the squad on Monday.
leading the charge for Arsenal.
Hey,
with Kieran Gibbs on the opposite wing. Remember that?
Hey, that's my joke, man.
Glenn Elder on the bench.
That's my joke. Eddie Nketiah has been dropped for Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who's been recalled from Southampton. The player who led us to the FA Cup final win in 2020.
And T-Bags being replaced by Kieran Gibbs.
By Glenn Helder.
Glenn Helder.
He just sat there waiting for his name to pop up. Just search window constantly open.
Glenn Helder pops up in the chat box. What the fuck?
We've got 4 more to go. We can do it.
You have a new follower.
I think I've saved up 6 weeks of laughter here.
Imagine it. I have to take out a restraining order against Glenn Helder.
Taking a restraining order out against Tony and his wild claims. Tony's
It's
gonna
not
be
wild. Watch back that season.
You're gonna be writing for the tabloids tomorrow.
Nowhere in that season did I go, you know what, Maitland-Niles?
What?
Damn, he was good.
Watch the first 7 games, Arteta. Watch who the best player was.
I don't think anybody was going, that Maitland-Niles, yeah.
Go back, read people's Twitter, people on here, and I guarantee you.
Because you got time to do that.
Not one person
some
said, you know what, when we won that.
Can you imagine that? My missus is like, Stan, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just watching the first 7 games under Mikel Arteta. Is that a problem?
All right, Tony. Pack it up.
Gary, we still got fucking 3 games to go, right?
Yes. Gary, Chelsea versus Bournemouth.
Yeah, I can't see Bournemouth getting anything out of this. They're done.
Graham Potter's 8th place. Chelsea will get a win. I kind of agree with that. Tony?
I damn sure better.
Or else they won't have any more BFTs, right?
No big dick swinging by them. So.
Yeah.
Chelsea at home should beat them, but it's almost want to gamble with 6 points on.
Alonso, Chelsea, Bournemouth.
I go for a draw.
Okay. Well, it'll be a welcome draw. Stan, Chelsea, Bournemouth.
A draw wouldn't surprise me.
No.
I mean, obviously, if I was going to put money down, hard cash, I'd say Chelsea would win. But I might, when everyone's walked away, I might put a sneaky another bet down for a draw because Chelsea seem to be having problems, and I think what they do in the transfer market is going to be really important for them because they seem to have a bit of a discombobulated setup there. Their strikers just always seem to fail, don't they? Their strikers never seem to do it for them. So
they've got Aubameyang now.
Exactly. So I like what Alonso's saying. If I was putting money down, I'd go for a Chelsea win.
Yeah.
But I think deep inside, a draw would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
You're like the agent for Chelsea
like
players. You're like,
match.
you're gonna do really good.
Draw.
You're gonna do really good.
Alonso, Man United at home to Nottingham Forest, 5th versus 18th.
Wow.
That's Dan's second favorite team, Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, because you're talking about the left back. Yeah, I mean, I'll go for Richard FIFA. I think they're going to draw. I don't think Man United have enough in them to go on a tear, So I'm going for a draw here.
Man United beat Burnley, I think, in the Carabao Cup last night. Vincent Kompany's doing well with Burnley, may take them back into the Premier League. But, Man United.
Forest also won, didn't they? They won 4-1.
Yes, Forest also won, and I believe they're in the draw with Wolverhampton Wanderers in the quarterfinal. I think Newcastle United and City will win their respective ties as well. So that'll be your semi-final in the Carabao Cup. I think Man United will have too much for Nottingham Forest playing at home under Ten Hag, Tony's favorite coach. All right, Tony, who's winning? United or Forest?
Yeah, United 3-1.
Okay, United 3-1. We got a score prediction as well. Gary?
I would like to see chaos. So
yes,
I would like to see chaos, especially for them.
I was listening to a Liverpool podcast, as I do, and they referenced Darwin Núñez as chaos, and one comment was, our club record signing equals chaos.
Right.
That's Darwin. He's not really.
Is that what you said on the podcast you were on?
I didn't say that. Stan, Man United versus Forest.
Yeah, if you're gonna either got look in this game, right? The upset picks either go big or go home. That's what I'm learning, right? So
yes,
I think that this might have to be. This will probably be my upset pick. Because even if it draws right, there's still a lot of points in the bag there. If it's a draw,
I remember your first season, Stan. You were going for a 9th versus 8th.
I was.
Stan was going for these 1 or 2 pointers.
I was just going for the win.
Finally figured it out.
I know, but I'm getting there, right? And I just think that with Man United,
put the board back up so we can look at Stan's improvement.
Until they get into the market and bring more in, they're kind of still going through a bit of the same, right? There's rumours that they're going to be probably even thinking about changing the goalkeeper. That De Gea is could be on his way out. And I'm sorry, Mr. Tom, if you're still with us. One of the names that they're looking at is Melia, right, from Leeds.
Melia, yeah.
I always think that when there's a bit of instability at a team, when there's little tinkering going on. Sometimes it gives opponents an opportunity to slide in and get all 3 points.
You get this right, Dan, you can be on first place.
I'm going to go. I think Nottingham Forest for the win. Balls out, mate. This is that scene in the movie where I'm pushing all of my chips. I'm pushing all of my chips into the middle of the table.
All right. Well, I will need all of you to confirm this later, right? Confirm your picks. You know how it works.
Yeah, Gary won't say it.
I already did, but you know what? If you were in the group chat, you would know.
I know. Tony, you're the one. Tony, you're the one.
There's a group chat?
Tony,
Dan, you don't want to be in it either. I think you've kicked yourself out of it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Stan's like, I don't need you guys getting all in my business. He's like shrugging us off.
I was
I'm in the
okay. I've
lead.
left. I leave a lot of chats.
Yeah,
I let that one too stand. So
it's better. It's better. You can come here and talk for 2.5 hours. It's good. It's all good.
And the rest of us can talk 5 minutes each.
It's not a chess game. Tony's
It's a bit rich, Tony.
Tony's got
Fucking hell. Hello.
Tony's got the timestamps. man.
Notwithstanding,
Yeah, Tony's
All
got
right.
receipts, man. He's got the
Notwithstanding
I
Tony's
think
big
that-
job.
Did we do? Man, we did everyone right. Leeds City, Mr. Tom. No, there's not a Mr. Tom here, but we know who we're talking about, right? Gary, Leeds versus City.
I really want Mr. Tom to be happy.
Yeah,
The last game of
oh yeah.
I would like him to be happy, but I kind of Harlan looks like he's ready to go. KDB looks like he's ready to go. Mahrez looked like he's ready to go. So I can't see Leeds getting anything out of this. I would love it though. I just
Yeah.
can't see it. I
Ray,
can't
what
see it.
happened to that World Cup hangover thing?
what did I say?
You were mentioning that City had the most players out on the World Cup. They might struggle when.
Mahrez didn't play in it. KDB was he even there? It didn't even look like he played. Did it look like he was in it? Right?
Tony, my theory.
I
will
was
be
talking
put
to Ray, not you, Gary.
Yeah.
But,
Tony, my theory will be put to the test. All it is right now is a theory. Okay.
Gary? Okay.
We never had a World Cup in December before.
And
Ever.
hopefully we never have a fucking another one.
So we are all in uncharted territory. We're trying to pick upsets. This is like the first day of the season, Stan. This
There's
is
so
like
many
August.
points to be had this week.
This is like the first day of the season again. And I didn't think it happened, Stan. Leeds City.
Why can't Man City drop points? They've dropped points. It's not like they're invincible and they win every game.
Yeah.
You know. But again, you know what I mean. If I was actually opening my wallet, you know, I ain't putting the money down on Leeds, am I? You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean.
Leeds have beaten
It's
Chelsea. Leeds beat Chelsea.
just the way of the
on their
world,
home
isn't it?
track. Yeah.
But with my Arsenal hat on, you think to yourself, well, why can't they drop points? You know, why can't they? You know, so yeah, I think it'll be a Man City win, though.
Here's the beauty.
I mean,
of
I
it.
didn't watch the game, but it seems like they haven't got much cobwebs after playing a fully, you know, a fully sort of like first team Liverpool, right?
Well, no, there was the second goalkeeper played, so it was a mix. It was a mixed bag for Liverpool. It's a Carabao Cup. It was a mixed team, as you would expect. Haaland played because he needed to have a competitive game, and that's the advantage of playing in the Carabao Cup. Now they have an extra game, but Leeds versus City, and here's the beauty of it, Alonso. Here's the beauty of it. If we do our business against West Ham on Monday, we're 8 points clear by the time City have to travel to Leeds United. Alonso.
Yeah, I heard. I'm going.
We just need 3 more minutes, Alonso. We can do this.
Alonso's giving up.
I'll give up, Tony. I'm just tired.
It's the ale.
So
You're drinking all that ale.
no, I'm just really tired. Anyway,
Are
so
you out
yeah,
of breath?
so
Is that the
Of
what's
life.
Come on, Alonso. It's Arsenal. It's going to reinvigorate you. The Premier
right,
League is-
so I'm going for Leeds.
Just do what I do, Alonso. Pretend.
Yeah, I'm pretending to go for Leeds.
This
3-1.
is the IGAF game of the week.
No, this is I want Ramsey to lose and the ball of it. So
This is
I'm
a
going for
too
Leeds.
tired to care game.
All right, Tony. All right. I'm going for Leeds.
Tony has wore you down physically.
No, it's because like he over talks to people, and when you ask a question, he gets loud, and
Yeah, he
it's
does.
like
Yeah, tell him.
my
Yeah.
headphones
But-
just got out of control. It's like Tony,
But
relax, man.
Alonso,
Calm down.
he gives you so much back. Like Ainsley Maitland-Niles winning the 2020 FA Cup.
You know, it makes you want to go hop in the DeLorean, right? and go back to 2017 or not 2020, right? And we'll say, "Yo, Elizabeth Niles, are you sure?"
Maybe
No,
he's
let me
watching
finish.
Twitter.
Oh my God, Tony, let me finish.
He had to have a story to
Let me
tell.
finish my.
Niles followed him.
It's called Smooth Time Alonso. Okay, so right.
Alonso.
I'm gonna see where he done. If it is a score, Tony, I'm gonna go back to present day, right? I'm gonna say, yo, Tony, where's the score that I didn't see that you apparently saw? They got Arsenal every cup final because it's ridiculous, Tony. I mean, so upset because I wasted fuel, right?
Were we playing a back four and had a horrible defense? And we switched to a
Oh
back
my
three?
God, did he score, Tony? Did he assist?
I said
did
the
not.
FA Cup run. I did not say the fucking FA Cup
Who
final.
cares? You're still
Alonso.
wrong, Tony.
Alonso,
No, I'm not.
watch the first 7 games. All of the watch the block the
That's what you
box
should have
set.
been doing instead of watching the World Cup.
Watch
Should have been watching-
Arteta's first 7.
No, I watched the World Cup, Tony. I watched the World Cup. You watched the FA Cup in 2020.
Tony. All right, Alonso, thank you. Gary, Leeds United versus City. Did I ask you?
Yeah, you did. It was so long. Yeah, Tony.
All right. So look, here's the thing. Mr. Tom said they've beaten Liverpool, they've beaten Chelsea. Nearly took Arsenal. We know that. We were lucky. We were lucky to get 3 points. So they seem to be up for the big 6. Let's hope they can do something. It's more with hope than chest. You know what I mean? But just watch the first 7 games of Mikel Arteta's managerial career, and you'll understand what Tony knows right now. All right, it's time to wind it up. I think we've had enough.
You didn't ask me who
No,
I thought was going to fucking win the game.
Okay, Tony, Leeds at home to Man City.
Leeds outscores Manchester City, but Holland outscores Leeds.
Leeds outscores Man City, but Holland outscores Leeds. Okay. That's probably facts, is it?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Quick word, Gary, maybe a final word as well on Arsenal, West Ham.
Yeah, I think
Doesn't need to be long.
I think we're gonna come. We're gonna have a solid team no matter what, no matter who starts. But we're gonna have some guys coming off the bench, most likely if they don't start, that are part of the starting 11. So we should be good. And Katie has had 6 weeks to figure this whole scoring thing out, so we expect to see it.
Yeah.
And
okay.
and he's been working with Erdegaard, and so they should hopefully be on. Those two should definitely be in sync in terms of how how the game should go. And I believe West Ham is missing both strikers. So I believe so. So I don't think they're they're gonna struggle. I think to score, and they should struggle to score against us. So we should win it 2-0. 2-0.
I remember when we played West Ham last season, they were missing 2 of their central defenders. Now they're missing 2 of their attackers. So let's hope the same thing happens for Arsenal on Monday. So that's good news. And I remember I was watching the Mikel Arteta and Carragher interview, and he was talking about David Moyes. He worked under David Moyes, so he does know David Moyes pretty well. I think Mikel Arteta will be ready for whatever West Ham have for them. And I think we can win 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0, and it's got to be Eddie scoring a goal. Tony, I'll come to you then in a minute. Stan?
Sorry, Riddy, is that hang on, just so Riddy, was that the socks one? The socks one. I think it was the socks one you're talking about there. For me, with the West Ham one, I mean, we're the team that's in the ascendancy. We've worked hard to get into the position that we're in. So I don't see why we can't go out there and continue to get another 3 points. As far as I'm concerned, I believe.
Yeah. I was thinking about when we were talking about Eddie Nketiah earlier in the podcast, this has similarities to Olivier Giroud when we didn't fire against Leicester when we should have won the league. But I also think we are playing in such a style that we can overcome even having Eddie Nketiah as our striker. We can overcome because I think we're holding possession. We don't concede as many goals. In fact, we're probably level best with Newcastle. The fact checker will probably check me on that one, but I feel confident that we can overcome the missing of Gabriel Jesus for 10 or 12 weeks. Alonso, how are you feeling for Monday's game, Arsenal-West Ham?
I think I'm very confident. Though I think that the battle, or it all starts in midfield. I think that if the midfield is on fire, then we're not missing quite a step, right?
Yeah.
I think that if Eddie has a good game or good start to the next campaign, rather, meaning restart, I think that he'll need help from Saka and Martinelli to do that. And I think they have a good system right now where they're set. Arsenal now set in their ways to know where they're playing their strengths. So yeah, I'm looking for a good game from them. And I'm thinking more with 3-0 kind of game where we'll dominate position and get past them like that. But yeah, I think it'd be good to see the guys win and come out with the win and hopefully further their lead on our City.
Mr. Tom has a good suggestion here. I think we should consider not sending Tony the link for the next show. We'll have to take a vote on that, a democratic vote. It could be 4-1. Who knows? What do you think, Stan, Gary?
Tony who?
All right. As so often we do in a dangerous way, we're going to turn the final part over to Tony to see us out tonight. But I want to thank, of course, Tony for being here, Gary for being here, Alonso and Stan with the promotion of. You want to do it one more time, Stan? Take
Briscoe Brothers Body Shop, Tampa Bay. For all your body shop needs. 813-879-4421. And remember, folks, it's worth the drive.
I think the third time's the charm. That was the best one yet, Stan.
Just ask for Gerald.
I think you're getting better and better at this. Okay, so listen, Arsenal have a chance to go 8 points clear, and we're contractually obliged to let Tony have the final say. But thanks for everybody for watching. Slap a like, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and Tony's composing some kind of a speech right now. Take it away, Tony. Thanks.
I was actually looking for my tweets, seeing what they said.
Perfect.
Anyway.
This was a funny one tonight, exactly. I needed this one in some way. Of course, the best one was 2020 FA Cup final, completely rewriting everything.
It's not. Look at my tweets. I'll
hurry up, Tony. I've got to go now and watch this fucking first 7 matches under Mikel Arteta. So hurry up. It's going to be a long night.
It might be a long night for us if we've got Rob Holding out there.
Yay!
Scored own goals midweek. Way to go, fellas.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, and everybody as well, have a great
That's
Christmas
10 hours.
weekend. Everyone have a great Christmas weekend. All of our listeners, everybody on the panel, have a great Christmas. Hope you all get the presents that you wanted.
Yep. Merry Christmas. Happy
Did you
holidays.
order all yours, Dan?
We had some good fun tonight. Tony, are you done? Is there anything more, Tony?
Let's say goodnight, Tony.
Well, let's say goodnight, Tony.
There you go.
All right, there you go.
Give me some wheels.
Sometimes
So
they
I'm not
say
stuck in
less,
this fucking house.
less
for
is
2.5
more.
weeks.
They sometimes say. Have a great Christmas, everybody. We will see you. I'm going to try to organize something, but not interfere with what Gary's doing as well.
Happy holidays.
Monday, you know what I mean? So we'll figure something out.
Compete against Gary. Come on.
No, can't compete against Gary. Can't go up against that juggernaut. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Merry Christmas.
See you later.
See you, everybody. See you.
Happy
If you want
holidays.
to come backstage, the link is there. Grab it. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.